have this, if you just say, oh, I didn't have a camera, so let's move on. No. How can we use that? So the one thing is, when you're using your phone, I think one of the key factors is we need to see that um, the, the sick of the Lord, rather. We need to see them. If it's a physical condition, this one is talking definitely about physical conditions like blind, like cripples, doing the tests on the deaf, like chronic wounds and cancer, visible tumors. The first thing is the lighting. So we have to make sure that the lighting is really good so that you were able to see that condition very well. And then don't focus on just the condition. You have to see that person also. So as you to zoom using the phone, because it becomes grainy, you move forward and move backwards towards the subject. You have to make sure that the people who are going to see that recording know that this person that you have said has this condition is that person. So if it's a cripple, don't just record the legs, or don't just record the crippled state. Make sure that you move the camera from the face down to the whichever crippled condition that they have. If they are on a wheelchair, we have to see that, and we have to see the face. We have to see actually that this person is the person that we are talking about. So if for lighting now, we record outside where the light is sufficient, and we really avoid poor lighting. And then when you're outside, make sure you don't record with the subject, with the sun with the sun facing you, because if the subject is towards the direction of the sun and you're recording them, then they turn out dark, so you can't really see their face. So they are supposed to be, it's supposed to be the other way around. You are the one who's supposed to go the direction of them, so that now the lighting is the subject person. And then, before you start the recording, check the settings of the phone to make sure you get the best settings. So if for your phone, if you can increase the lighting, or if you can, anything that you can do. Most phones have features where I think you can really make your videos a little bit more usable or a little bit more professional. So you check the settings, make sure that you have the best settings. And then another thing that, if you've noticed, a lot of people that are making this mistake is that if you can't get a phone stand, right, and you can't go and you start have that, they don't have the professional camera. So these are ways in which we can meet the Lord at this point. I know the other speakers will probably speak about how now we have to really make sure that everyone is wary of just having a few people in the video department to go out. We now have to just train as many people as possible from the home fellowships, from deep in the villages, from, if we can get anyone in our altars who we can train, who has a good mobile phone, or who has at least a mobile phone that can take at least quality recordings, we need to train them, because the way the Lord is moving, we don't know. Every service now, the Lord will be decreeing healing, maybe decreeing healing. And we don't want to be caught in a situation where we hinder the glory of the Lord because we did not have a recording, we did not have a before video. And when it comes to matters of the Lord, there is no, they usually say there's no learning curve, especially in this ministry. You can't say I did not know, or nobody told me. You cannot say that. So I pray that with a few, at least an idea when we're going out, all this is for the glory of the Lord. And I know that as long as we're doing this for the Lord will help us. The Lord will definitely help us. So thank you so much. That was just it from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hey, power, boxing also helps some from your region who can. Amen, amen. I can hear you well, please. I'm not clear. And now? Yes, you can go on. Proceed now. Okay, I was saying thank you so much, Pastor Kathy, for that. And I know we have really been helped, and you have moved us from the level where we are to another level. And without taking much time, I will welcome our elder, Pastor Larry, to voting the others who are not with us in this meeting. Welcome, Pastor Larry.
Yes,
Yes.
well, please, I'm Pastor Larry from Kakamega Minota, member of the national media team. Request those who are on their microphones on, can you just mute them, please, because it's bringing a lot of distraction for some members who are not getting it clear. Praise the Lord. Yeah, I think Pastor Kathy has touched so many things on quality recording, and those who attended the last meeting in Busia, you to go out. Remember, there are so many people who are not having this opportunity to go out and record. So many are desiring to go, they are just idle. But as the Lord has favored us, even to participate in His work during this lockdown. So we bless the Lord for that so much. So whenever this opportunity arises, you should rejoice and even go out and do the work of the Lord properly, with all your lungs and with all your strength, without failing. So one thing I have to notify that whenever this the healing service, like today in the morning, we had a decree of the healing from the Lord. So this calls us to be prepared every time and every minute that you are ready to go and do the work of the Lord. So in terms of that, in line with that, I'll talk about how do you prepare to go out to do the video recording. One thing I've said that you must be mentally prepared every time, because the issue of Gate 1 has actually been devolved to the villages. It's no longer the day when we used to meet in Menengai. Now it's you and you alone with your camera or with your mobile phone, and that clip is required for the international audience for broadcast. So you can imagine the challenge, the demand and the pressure you'll be having on you to go and to do the job properly. So before you go out, most of the time you'll find when you go out, the microphone, Nyambura. So whenever you go out, one, you must have a checklist. Because most of the time you find you're traveling 100 meters, 100 kilometers away, on reaching there you find you don't have an SD card, or you've forgotten a battery, or your phone is full. You can ask your next line at Tieno. Kindly mute your microphone, please. Thank you. So, thank you so much. So you must have a checklist. Just check what you require, because it's embarrassing to go. A clip is being waited for, and there you are in Lunga on the border of Tanzania, from Likoni. You find your memory card is full. So you start a smartphone which might not be the right quality that you are designing, because not have a negative one. So before leaving the house, just have a small checklist like memory cards. Is my phone or camera fully charged? Is it having the right, the correct settings? Is the camera okay? The lens, is it okay? Or it has fingerprints? You just do a checklist. And before you leave the house, just do a trial test. Record something and listen to it. If you find it not good, just try to adjust before you go to the field. So they don't reach the field and start adjusting again and again. Because now it will be a big mess. Most of the time you find in a situation where you reach somewhere and you discover you can't record anything because perhaps the settings were okay or are not right before you left the house. So have a checklist, just a simple checklist, some before just leave the house, because these days we don't prepare. We expect a phone call any moment that can you go so and such a place to record. The other thing we have to look for is actually, like I said, you must be mentally prepared for anything. You don't know where to start. You don't know why you are there first. You don't know what are you supposed to do. So you must be mentally prepared any moment. Because what I'm saying is sections, I've had an experience on that. You are told to go and record perhaps the will of the Lord doing some activities. Then you reach there and you find you missed that footage. Now it will cost you a long time again to go all the way to do the recording again. The clip is being waited for. Then you find yourself messed up severally because you just missed to take the instructions alone. So some of the instructions we are given from the reader team or from anyone that our senior bishops that are in charge of that area of the footages, they give us instructions exactly what to capture and what kind of environment we are supposed to operate in. So the moment we receive them, go through them and just follow that. You can have a simple recording plan, what elements, what footages you require before you leave. Because we are using the phones, I think Pastor Kathy has touched a very vital issue like landscape. Somebody was asking what is landscape, recording, and the portrait. Portrait is when the moment is like when you are receiving it on phone, you normally hold it landscape in any portrait. That is what you call portrait. And the other way around is what you call the landscape. Landscape is the most recommended one when you are doing recording in the field. I think this is what we were told those who were in the other meeting in Lucia. The importance of that. I think we shall share footages of that on your WhatsApp so that you can be able to understand what that one means. The other issue is when you are out. Some microphones are on, please. Can they be muted? Yeah, when you go to the field, just know the basics. Pastor Kathy has mentioned some of them. One of the area that is bringing a lot of issues, the issue of shaking, stability of your footage. Because you are using phones, perhaps you are holding with one hand, perhaps you are part of them, so you find the clip, the footage is shaking so much. Therefore, that cannot be material for broadcast in any video, in any TV, even for watching. So you can realize it's a lot of distraction. The other issue is about focusing. Make sure your clip is clear, very clear. Thank God most of our phones are out of focus. But sometimes if you handle it not properly, then you'll miss it. You'll miss it. Some don't have a very fast autofocus, so you find your image is out of focus. Pastor Innocent last time he talked about framing, and even a senior Bishop Alphonse touched it on the issue of framing. Last time we had the Busse meeting, you'll find you have taken a footage of somebody, and the hand is out. I think somebody has shared a footage of that's now landscape. That's now landscape. So you find there's a hand. One of the hand is out of the frame, or you have cut off the legs. The legs are not in the frame, or part of the head is not in the frame. So whenever you are recording, know what you are supposed to, where the subject is. Who are you going to record? Once you identify the subject, you are supposed to take the footage of that, a full footage, and make sure you put the subject in the center of your screen, because you'll miss some details. Somebody may be talking about a wound or a cripple, and you are showing the head. You see that get one, even if the cripple the Lord touches, he might not be able to see how crippled that person was. He might just be seeing the head. So make sure you narrow on what you are supposed to take. And if the person is crippled, don't just take the leg alone. First of all, take the full footage of the person you are talking about. Then now you can slowly get the footage of. The best way to do is to move near where the condition is and take it. Praise the Lord as even we continue. So all these, some of these things are so basic, but you'll find, that is actually a lot of time wasting. The other thing is the settings. I think Pastor Kali talked about settings. There are some basic settings on your phone. When you go inside the phone, the camera settings, we normally say just use the highest quality so far, so that when you go to the field, you take a footage that is almost like 1080 pixel with a good frame, that when it's now put on the screen, at least people can be able to see what you're talking about. Audio. The other thing is about audio. I don't know how many people know where the microphone is on our phones, smartphones. I asked this one time, and I found people actually don't know where the microphone is on the phone. Most of the time, you find you are recording, and you have blocked the microphone. Okay, the microphone on the phone, you might not see it. I think it's just a small hole. So when you are recording, the microphone is, and don't block the place, because now you miss on the audio quality. And if you are told you are using a camera, most of the time I carry earphones, because video is not a material for broadcast, because you want to hear what that person is saying. Perhaps is a dumb person. You may want to hear what is he saying. So whenever you are recording, just record. That's what I was saying, before you leave the house, do a trial test. Make sure the sound is there and the video quality is again okay before you leave. As I said, video recording has been devolved, especially the Gate 1. So it's you alone who is supposed to plan everything and go out and do the right thing so that you can be able to meet it. The other thing I found out also is the issue of video capturing details which are not required. It will force you to go to the editing again. You cut it so that you send. That will be wasting a lot of time. Take just a brief, good video, good size, good timing, and capture the most important details of what is required. And as I've said, as I conclude, I may not go on for long. Talked about somebody is also portraying, displaying some information there. Please also be alert on that, so that whatever I'm explaining, you're able to to qualify to do it as it's right, even as you go out, because you realize when you go out doing for the work of the Lord and you are not spiritual right, your heart may not even be there, so you may just capture things for your own sake. We have had a case where people go to the field, they're even taking selfies. They're even taking clips of animals which are in that compound, which are not required. What they're supposed to do. So we must be spiritual right. Prepare yourself spiritually even as you go out, and make sure you're also right with the Lord even as you go out. That your heart will be open to take instructions from the Lord. So thank you so much. I think that's what I wanted to share tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elder Alaric. We are moving well. So now our third speaker is Brother Innocent Salwa. Innocent.
Umesikia nataka tubure tu.
There is a microphone there disturbing. Yes, great.
Praise the Lord.
Kumbe
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
umejua tumemute.
Okay, this is Innocent.
Yes, Innocent.
So I was saying kumbe jamani kama ni lesbian.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Logan, for this time and this
Mjani jamaa sasa anaambia ati for me I love you baby boy. Ule boy. Baby boy, to me I love you very much, brother. Yes, lesbian. Yule kijana mega kupigia akamba tije ni Alphonse.
My name is Innocent Salwa.
Anakuambia
I bless the Lord so much.
Gayism, ni gay.
Or at lesbian.
Kumbe ni kwa
I
kipresa.
fellowship at the Kisi main altar.
You need to.
But I also serve at Kakamega region. The larger Kakamega region. So,
Kakamega region. The larger Kakamega region.
maybe just without wasting
to the point, without wasting the speakers have said, and mine will just be to reiterate on what they've said, and perhaps to add more on what we have been noting down. As time goes by, there are things that we learn new and we note down, which are very important in our service to the Lord. Just to pick up with what Pastor Laric has been saying, or saying, that our hearts, are our hearts clean? Are we prepared to serve the Lord? Because we are not just going to go out and press the record button and record, and maybe send out the clips to Pastor Randy or whoever, or any the bishops or the correspondents or whoever. So it all begins with our hearts. So we have to pray for wisdom from God. Everything that we do, we have to do it with the wisdom of the Lord. And so, first thing I would like to talk on is about storage of our Gate 1 clips. In as much as we have been recording all these clips all this time, and these are things that we have been doing it continuously, and we are expected to do it daily from now henceforth, or actually we began it very many years ago. Until today we are still doing it. But there's one thing about storage that is still disturbing or not yet has not yet been solved by most regions, storage is very important. You can be well in recording. You have recorded very well the clips, you have them. But what about the storage? There's some phones that record in a size, large size, especially when you're recording in full quality. So you'll find in sometimes people delete these clips because they don't have any other storage to keep them. So you'll find it's not something shocking to find that the get ones you did maybe in 2018 or 2019, you don't have them right now because you deleted them, or maybe something happened and they got lost. And at this moment, it's very critical because the get one you did in 2018 or 2019, if it is the sick of the Lord who gets healed, it becomes a challenge when retrieving the get ones because maybe you didn't do the before. So it's only the after that is available. So storage is a very critical part in which all regions actually should invest in. So, and this goes for all regions headed by the bishops, the deputy archbishops, and the overseers should have at least a storage. You can have a hard drive. You can buy a hard drive, let's say 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte. And these are things you can find them in Nairobi. They are sold at actually a fair price, maybe than other regions. So you can connect with the members, our members who are maybe in Nairobi. They can buy and send to you if you are far from Nairobi. So storage is very critical and is very important. So we need to invest in hard drives or hard disks for storage of these clips. Another thing is having computers or laptops. So these computers or laptops, it's very easy to retrieve data. So if you're looking for a get one from 2018, if you have a computer, you search through, if you have, I think maybe I don't know if all the people or all the members in this forum have been taught about the naming of clips. Where you name, you give the name of the person, maybe the sick of the Lord, the name of the person, the area where he or Evans, please mute your microphone. Okay, I was talking of the naming of clips, where you give the name of the sick of the Lord, where he or she comes from, the condition, the region, and any other detail that is needed for naming. So when you do that and you store that data in your computer or a hard drive, it will be very easy. Even now, that's now, for the past 1 or 2 weeks or 1 month, many people have gone out to do the recordings. But if you ask them where do they send the get ones, some of them still have them in their phones. They haven't shared it maybe to the overseers or the bishops or maybe the lead video team member or correspondent. They haven't shared the clips to them. So you'll find that when these people go somewhere, you go a place you are very fascinated by a certain environment, you start taking your videos, your phone, and then you are tempted to delete these clips because you say, these are not important, let me record what is important today.
So that brings shame to our service. So we have to invest in storage, and if we do that, I think we'll be going in the right direction. Another thing, just to reiterate on sound, I will also urge us to invest in microphones. There are microphones for phones or for mobile phones. Many, because most of us or many of us will be going to use smartphones, it is very important to have a reliable source of sound. If Pastor Eric talked about the positioning of the microphone of the phone. So you find that maybe you're recording and you have maybe you have blocked the microphone. So your recording will be maybe without sound, or will be just something crooked. So invest in microphones. There are microphones for phones. I think I don't remember the prices, but they are just they are below 1,000 shillings. So they are in some hundreds. I think somebody from Nairobi can share with us, because that's where most of this equipment are found. So those microphones for phones are very important. If you don't have a microphone for the phone, you can use the headphones or earphones. They also record. They can also record. It's better off than recording from the mouthpiece of the phone. And then check on the background noise, eliminate background noise, still on sound. You might go and record a thing, do your Get One, and there's so much background noise. There are vehicles passing, there is noise, people talking in the background. That is not proper. So you have to check on the sound. That means monitoring. After you've recorded, you need to monitor your recording. So very fast, I would like to talk about something that is video composition. I talked of this in the last meeting for Busia region, and I'll just go through it, because most of us, or most of the members here today, maybe for those who didn't attend, I'll just go through what I discussed, and it's very important actually. So video composition, or composition, not composition for like the one we used to write in school or high school. Video composition is a way of how you choose to frame your video that you're about to capture. So how do you choose to frame? How do you frame your video? Framing is very important. You don't just record anything. You don't just record everything. So how do you compose your video? What is needed in your video? And this requires maximum planning, as Pastor Alaric talked of it. So prepare yourself first. Have a plan. Why are you taking the video? What are you going to take? So if you're getting to your Get One, and you get somebody who is blind or crippled, you don't just begin recording without asking the person where the condition is. So you need to have the knowledge where the exact condition is. And then having, when you gather the knowledge now about the condition, you'll now be able to know what to record. So you don't just record everything and anything that you see in front of you. So planning is very important. And so in the composition of the video, that is framing of the video, it will help you if you plan. So there are several rules in composing a video, and this comes in on the kinds of shots that we need to take. Pastor Kathy talked of how you can have the shots of the person. You show us who the person is, and then go to the condition which you have to show to the viewers. So this is all about the shots. What kind of shots are you going to take? So there are shots like one of them is establishing shot. An establishing shot is that kind of a wide shot, and it is actually close-up shots. We have the other type of shot is the close-up, and close-up shots are those tight shots, and they are important in showing fine details of something. So this is where you now move. Somebody is talking of live examples. I think maybe we'll have the next maybe meeting. We can have these presentations, maybe live presentations. We hope so. So we'll have them. So those the close-up shots are those tight or those shots which you are focusing on a detail or something. Let's say if somebody has a boil, you are focusing on that boil. You are making the viewers to see what is you are giving a picture to the viewers. What is the boil? If a person looks at the boil, they can imagine the size, or they can see the size of the boil. If somebody is blind, you go nearer, you go close to the eye. the viewers see how the eye actually looks like. So those are very tight shots. Those are close-up shots. So the close-up shots are very important to show the fine details of the something. So they can also be used maybe when you are trying to check on. They actually talk of all their emotions. They are crying. Such moments are the ones you need to focus on. Have a close-up look on how these people, the tears are rolling down the eyes. Those are close-up shots. So you'll make the viewer get into the picture by seeing the emotions of the person. So those three types of shots are important when doing the get ones. We have the establishing shot, which is a wide shot, and then a medium shot, which is shot above the waist. The waist, the waist. I don't know in Kiswahili. From the waist upwards, and then we have now the close-up shots, which you focus on the exact area which the exact condition of the person you are recording. So framing is important. Just as Pastor Eric said, don't cut out any important part of the body. So don't cut out the hand. So you'll keep people guessing and wondering, does this person have maybe one hand, or you are shooting things halfway? So framing is important, very important, and that's why you need to give to have your subject in the middle of your screen, the screen or the frame. So put the person in the middle. Don't cut out any part. So it's very safe to keep your subject or the person you're shooting in the middle of your screen, so that you get both sides of this person or the people. So there's something called the headroom. There's something called a headroom, and a headroom is that kind of amount of space that is above your subject's head. So you need not to cut out somebody. I'm retreating on cutting the parts. So you'll find some videos, maybe somebody has cut the head. Tunaona tu uso lakini hatuoni if this person has a hair, ako na nywele ama hana. You can find maybe we have women or ladies who have their hair going upwards, ni kubwa. So you don't really have to cut out any part of this person. And again, you don't really need to give so much space. You leave so much space in the above the head, so that people wonder how your video has been shot. So framing, especially on the headroom, just leave some small space between the head of the person and the line on your screen above it, above the head. This is good, especially when doing the interviews. So don't give so much space or very tight space when you're doing the recording. Then something else is called a lead room or a nose room. And this is basically the space in front and in the direction of a moving or a stationary subject. So the space in front of a moving or in the front or the direction of the moving subject. For example, if somebody is a cripple and he or she has been healed by the Lord, you need, and the person is walking towards a certain direction, maybe say to the left. So you need to, when you're doing the recording, you need to give so much space to the direction where this cripple is walking, so that you don't get out of the frame. Because some of the healed of the Lord who are cripples, you'll find most of them, they can stand, and you'll find them walking very fast. So you have to move with very much speed. So you have to go in the direction of, give more space in the direction of this, where the person is going. And that calls for wisdom and attention. So you have to be you need to have attention, to be attentive where this person is going. So you need to give more space so that you don't get out of the frame, so that you don't just keep on panning and panning here and there. So you need to be consistent in the movement. So that's where the nostrum comes in. So the space in the direction of the moving subject, or a stationary subject, but facing in that direction, you need to give them more space in that direction. So that's about video composition. I think we'll have maybe some slides in our next meeting or training, which will be better for.
Hallelujah. Oh, is Innocent still? Yes, Innocent.
Tell him to open up his microphone, please.
I'm looking for him here. I don't know where he has gone to. Okay, Innocent. Yeah, Innocent, continue. Praise the Lord, Innocent. Praise the Lord, Innocent.
Hallelujah.
Welcome.
Lamek.
Amen. Amen.
It is like Innocent has. I can hear you, please. It is like Innocent has muted his microphone. So can you tell him to unmute his microphone, please?
On my side, it is it's on. Maybe there is something that has happened with his connection or his internet.
He has left.
Yeah, because now I can't see him.
It is like he has left. Can we just continue with another person?
So we'll ask him to be back. Okay, when he's back, he'll continue where he has left. So on this note, I don't know if there is any bishop or if there is any overseer that I can welcome to greet us before we continue.
I can see Innocent back.
Oh, Innocent, are you back?
Yes, please, I'm back. Sorry for the hiccup.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Then there is something that we have noticed that some of us, I don't know who he is or who he is watching football while we are in a meeting. There is so be careful. Okay, also mind of whatever is happening behind you, because DAB said that our service to the Lord is not something we should just take it lightly like that. There is gravity in it. Even in this meeting, there is gravity in this meeting. It is not just a meeting for anybody or anyhow. But the matters we are discussing here are deep matters that is supposed to help us in moving from one level to another in our altars at gate 1. So please, the distraction that we are getting from behind the scenes, some of them are not good. Innocent, continue.
Okay, thank you so much, Pastor Lamek. I was actually winding up on this presentation of mine. I was saying that always check your video after recording. So don't record garbage. Always confirm what you've recorded. Can it be broadcasted? If you're not sure, ask somebody or your seniors, is this clip worthy, or can I redo it? Because you when you are on ground, on the ground or on ground zero, you can be able to redo. You can be able to redo a gate 1 than when this person has been healed. So you might not get the gate 1 if the person has been healed. So you need to make sure before you get out of the place, you have your professional footage, your lighting, as Pastor Kathy talked of, your lighting has been good. You check on the sound, check on the recording itself. And then if something looks good to your eyes, actually, if it is satisfying, it means you have done it. You have done it well. You might feel there's that kind of urge which makes you feel it's okay. So always check. So before making any mistake, because mistakes are there, and we are trying to avoid mistakes. First thing we said, you need to plan. So by planning, you will avoid this kind of mistakes. So if you plan well, you have your all items or gadgets ready, then you'll avoid some of these mistakes. So before still on those mistakes, the safest method to avoid a mistake is to figure out any kind of mistake you might encounter, or any kind of problem you might encounter. So you really check if you get somewhere and you see there's you might get with the lighting. That is a problem. So how are you going to solve this problem? So that's the safest way which you can avoid mistake. Give solutions to the problems beforehand.
Innocent, what are you doing?
Yes. Sorry?
You keep on disappearing.
Oh, sorry. I was perusing.
Okay.
Can you get me?
Yes, we can get you.
Okay. So as I went down, let me talk of the choice of background in which we use, or we are going to use for gate 1s. So you have to ensure that you have a proper background for recording. So,
Pastor Innocent, before you continue,
yes,
someone is asking if you can explain with screen record. It can be much easier.
If I can explain with that?
a live, others are saying live examples. Another one is saying with screen record. That the people can see what you are trying to explain.
Okay. I don't know. Screen presentations can be good for this case. Unfortunately, right now I haven't prepared any, but in case we have another meeting, I think I'll have the presentations on my screen so that I share out my screen.
It's well.
Share out my screen for practicality.
It's well. Continue.
Yes. But I hope we'll catch up.
It's well. Continue.
So okay. So the choice of background is very important. The background you choose to record from. There are times where you get the only background you can record is we have washrooms in the background, or you find some place where we have so many distractions. People are standing in the background, people are playing in the background. You are maybe are recording in the streets. There are many vehicles passing around, making noise. Those beeps. So those are noise. Try to avoid those noisy backgrounds. So choose a background that is suitable, free from noise, and I think your recording will be professional and suitable. So to figure out any kind of interferences, because these interferences, they divert attention, and those distractions, those background distractions, they divert attention. People will start looking at the background instead of looking at the person you are recording. They will be concentrating on the background. So be very wise in choosing the background, considering also the other elements like lighting in your recordings. So to that end, I think I'm done. So we'll just have maybe, I know Pastor, we'll have maybe a forum for questions and answers. So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Innocent. I hope for those who are tuned in, or those who have managed to be in, you are getting something. And if there is some parts that are not clear, just as you said, you can type your questions, or you can request to ask, then he will answer them. At this juncture, I have seen Fred is around. Fred, are you still there? As we wait,
praise the Lord, Pastor Lambi.
Amen.
Praise the Lord, Pastor Lambi.
Amen. I can get you, Pastor Lambi.
I think Bishop Moses came in. I've seen his message. I don't know if he's still in. Yeah, I'm seeing him. He's in. Can we give him an opportunity to say something before we invite Fred, please?
Yes. Welcome, Pastor. Welcome, Bishop Moses. I've seen from Kisumu Airport. May you talk to us, rebuke us, teachers, and counselors. Bishop Moses.
Praise the Lord, Lamech.
Amen.
I think the bishop has said his microphone has a problem. If you can read that message.
Okay.
But microphone has failed. Please my regards.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Now I don't know if Fred is around as we wait for DAB. Because I can see other regional leaders are here. Fred, are you
Yes,
around?
I'm around. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am around. Can you all hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you and we can see you too.
Thank you for confirming.
Yes.
First, I want to apologize for coming in late.
There is a microphone that
I was able to follow Innocent from a distance. Has it been muted? Yes, it's been muted. You can hear me.
Continue now.
Okay. Yes, let me first apologize for late entry. I was trying to enter, but it was difficult until some people had to leave. Then I was to get a chance. I don't know whether I'll be repeating what people have said, because talking last and or joining late, you don't know what has happened before. But I want to make it straight that let's start with first things first. From previous meetings, we've been talking of having bad shootings, yet we've been having trainings. So I'll take us straight, like when we go for a shoot, first understand your camera. Once you understand your camera, then know that what are we doing? If it is on get one purpose, then why are we at it? Yes.
Fred, I'll cut you short.
Yes.
I'll be notified that we have Senior Bishop Richard in.
Okay.
So I would like to welcome him. He greet us, he talk to us before you continue.
It's well. I will allow him in. Let me.
Yes. Welcome, Bishop Richard.
Yes, and Mzee is joining us in the next 1 minute, so
it's well. Yes, welcome, Bishop Richard. Hallelujah, Bishop. Fred, you can continue. When he'll be ready, we'll welcome him.
Yes, so I was saying, like, we have to understand our equipment well and then know the reason for which we are serving. If it is Gate 1 holds the glory, and it is to prove really that it did happen. That's why we always go for before shots and after. And should you be given opportunity, I'll just go very fast because having not known what others had said. But you have three kind of shots. One is introductory shot, that is the wide shot, to show the entire place or area or even the region. That is, if you are to have the sick, then you have to show full shot of the sick. Then there's a second shot that we call medium shot, that shows normally from the waist to head. And then we have close-up shot that holds from the chest to head again. And that gives you clarity and will give you the real feeling of what the person looks like and or what feeling. If someone is being pained, you'd really see the pain in their eyes because you have one-on-one connect when you do the close-up kind of shot. And then there's what we call extreme close-up. That kind of shot will now be used if someone has tumor. You zoom into the tumor to show like this is what we are talking about, if that's the tumor. And that would really depict on what is being said. The other thing I will talk about is we should always have, as cameramen or people doing the shooting, have earphone so that when the interviewer asks the sick the question, you are able to follow. The mistake we make is that you'll realize someone is being asked a question, but then we don't get through. Why? Because a cameraman is standing far away and does not have headphone or earphone to listen to what is going on. So I'll ask us also as a tool for our work that we have earphones. It will really be important. It will help us in our work. I'll also talk about background. I've heard people talk about background. In video, when you say background, you may mean a screen put behind, or something put somewhere, or a curtain put somewhere. That is what we call a background. But now, to make it clear for all of us who are here, I will not ask us of background, but I will say, like, behind the place where you are shooting your video, there should never be distractions. Things like toilet, or maybe anything else that is distracting. So I will ask us, like, we look for clear place with the proper lighting, so that when we do the shooting, there are no toilet behind us, no nothing, and so we are able to do what is right. I don't know. Do you all hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Fred, continue.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Yes, Fred, we can hear you. Okay, your phone.
You are cutting. Okay, so am I still on? Okay, if I'm on, it's okay. So what I'm saying is, like, we check our background. Somebody's microphone is making noise.
Yes, Fred, we can hear you. Check your phone. There is a text that I've sent you.
Okay, I'm checking right away. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me check right away. Okay, let me just check. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Continue.
Yes. Oh yes. So, like I was saying, like, the backgrounds of what we are doing, we should make sure that it's always as clean as possible, so that we don't have distractions. Distractions simply means, like, maybe you are filming and people are either dancing or jumping, or something fun is happening at the background. So we should always try to be in isolated areas. Like, we choose our gate one in a place where, when we do our filming, there'll be no interference of either people passing at the background or people making it look like it is not what's supposed to be. That would be one. And then two, I would also talk of the lighting. Look at the direction of the light. I'm not talking of in the night, but I'm talking of during the day. You see a video is being shot, but instead of us seeing the face, the face is dark. So we should check on we should always be opposite the sun. The sun is on your back, so that the face of the person you're interviewing or the person you're filming is clear, is clean, because you're having the natural light onto them. But if it is late or dark inside the room, then we should have external or extra light, that is to light up the face, because if we hear the video, the sound, but we don't see the person, then it's the video is useless. We call that even in our normal work. If you hear the sound yet you don't see what the person is talking about, that is useless. Therefore, it is possible, if we cannot see them, we are allowed to ask them to open at least the windows to allow the light in, and try use that. And if we cannot, then carry your normal lighting. The other common thing I would also want to address or talk about here is how we film. When you go film the sick, there are places that cameras should not show. For instance, the nakedness, whereby sometimes a cameraman goes in because we are hurrying to film so many people. We forget to watch on that. Let us make sure that the video we shoot does not show the nakedness of a person. As an interviewer, you can ask, as a cameraman, you can ask them before you start recording that, kindly, do you mind covering this point or this other part? And then we can proceed. But if it is leg, it's okay. If it is hand, it's okay. Let us avoid filming parts which will make us not really use the video. Your video can be good, but if it shows some body parts which are not supposed to be shown, allow me to use this word here, like maybe we go and we show the genitalias, that video will not be used. But if we show the leg, the video can be used. If we show the upper parts of the body, if she's a female, and then you go as far as shooting the breast, then the video will not be used. Because remember, we go out and some during the mobilization, we meet different people. Some people who are in the ministry know how to dress, they will cover themselves. The people in the ministry will not want to cover themselves, but it's the responsibility of a cameraman to ask them that kindly cover, because in our profession, you're not allowed to show some body parts. Or in the, as we do this video to glorify the name of the Lord, we are not supposed to show some parts. So if we do that, then our video would be used later on after the healing, because we always take before and after. Imagine you are sent to go do the filming, you've done best filming, but when it is taken for the review, you will find that the video cannot be used. Why? Because we ignorantly ignored the basic things that we were supposed to take care of. We showed maybe the breast, we showed the genitalias, or we showed the upper part of the leg, which ought not to have been done. So it is important for us that as we also shoot, we talk about this, the people going out, so that we just don't move into the shooting without knowing why we are doing this. Remember, every and again, we have been doing the filming, but our shots end up being garbage. Another thing I want to talk about is the microphone, the audio itself. We shoot perfect video, but no audio. Why? A cameraman did not check the microphone. Before you go for a shoot or before you start recording, you yourself and the interviewer and the team, try by yourself, do 1-2 mic test so that you confirm that there's audio. For those using professional cameras, or rather, let me call camcorders, there are 2 XLR ports, audio 1, audio 2. And once you insert a cable, that is the audio cable, kindly turn on the channels. There's that part that indicates which shows channel 1 microphone or channel 2. Once you've turned it on, then you'll be able to record and get the right audio. At the same time, some microphones we have do have the on button. So before you start or you rush for recording, for us to get the perfect audio, ensure your microphone is on. Okay? If you're using a lapel microphone, also check on the point that it's supposed to have that. If you're using an external added microphone, also do that. But if your camera does not have an external microphone, it only has an internal microphone, then please move closer to your subject, that is the person you are interviewing, that's the sick of the Lord, so that you get what they are saying, rather than staying that far away, trying to get the shot. We'll see, but we'll not be having what they are talking about. So it would be important that we observe all those small issues that make our video that we take the whole day in the field don't get used at the time that they are needed. So if you observe, audio is an important issue to address, lighting is an important issue to check, and background, which you are talking about, that is the place where you're doing the shooting. It's an important avenue also shootings. And we have our earphones on to help us listen to what interviewer and the interviewee are talking about. A cameraman stands meters away, the sick of the Lord and the interviewer also are far apart, and if the activity is going on, like maybe worship, or not to be interfered, but if you have your earphone on or headphones on, you'll be able to tell the kind of sound needed. Is the person talking sound sufficient? If not, then what's the best way forward? So I'll urge us some coordination between interviewer, you as a cameraman doing recording, and you do not get the audio. Do not hesitate. You are allowed to stop the recording and tell them, please, I'm not hearing you, or there's a problem with we are good to go. We have good video, good audio, and no problem. Then if everything is not going right as per what you want, that's a camera person. But it does not give you the authority over interviewer and interviewee. So some humbleness when you are doing that. At least show that you are humble enough to ask them, kindly, this is the thing that's happening, so that they feel part of what is going on. I think I'll keep it up to that unless there's a question or area that has not been addressed, then we can as well talk it. But also on the labeling, or rather editing, if there's time to talk about editing little bit, then I can go on. Maybe Pastor Lamek, is it okay if I proceed?
Okay. According to, I don't know if you still have any other things that you want to share with us, because I want to take this opportunity and also let the host also tell us something.
Yes.
Then we take question before the AB comes, so that by the time he comes, so by the, who is this?
Okay.
Who is this presenting something here? So by the time the DAB comes, at least also we have questions. So as he will be talking to us, so we can be posting these questions to him. Because I know some might not be till the end of the meeting due to either bundles or either some emergencies. Yes.
Okay. So someone has said that the DSLR don't have earphone places. I think they do have. A few that we have do have, or they have the connectors. I'm just responding to a question that I've seen. Lamek, did I go the wrong way?
No.
But I want to say that almost all cameras do have. Okay, almost all cameras do have the places with the earphone. If I'm not wrong, we'll have to check again, and I can send the notes back or through a platform. But there's a way we always get feedback of the audio. There's what we call buffers. They are what we have the buffers. But if you check right, almost all cameras do have earphone, the places with the earphone. I'll check the DSLR around just before this meeting ends and be able to give feedback. But we should be having a place. If not, I will check again. And that's what I wanted to say. But it is really, really important for all of us to have headphones or earphones during a shoot. And or if for those that can go extra mile, we have external recording device or something that will be able to show you what your audio is like during the time of shoot. Hallelujah. Are we still together?
Yes, we are together.
Yes, I'm seeing someone rush the call, but I just want to address that we will be able to check somebody's audio.
George.
Somebody's microphone is. Obunge George. Yes,
yeah,
thank
continue.
you.
Continue.
As I was saying, yes. Another thing that could, back to lighting, maybe we'll be able to address questions. Back to lighting, another thing that can also help us. I've seen photographers having reflectors. If we are in a place that we are so squeezed and we can only tap one light from one source, I'm talking of those that are bedridden or stricken that cannot move, and you don't want to disturb them. If you have reflector, you could also use a reflector to tap light back to the places and get it.
Doesn't have
yes.
a mic, earphone ports.
From the apps, and we have done it between for the two ports. There's one that on the right hand side. It's removed it again. One of the two, one must be for microphone, and the other one has to be headphone or earphone. The place for the earphone. So we should have the earphone to put there so that we are able to listen to the audios that you get. The picture, that's picture one above. Picture two, that is on the left, down. We also have the two holes, yeah, zoomed well. we have the two holes. One has to be microphone and the other one has to be headphone. Yeah, there's that sign of something that shows head. So we are able to use that to listen to what we to what we are recording, because without listening to what we are recording, we may not be sure whether we are getting the sound or not. It is very practical and very possible that when we are in the field and under pressure, sometimes we even forget to press the record button, or maybe during that time interviewer accidentally pulled the microphone unknowingly, and then the pin, the jack that is supposed to be on the mic pad went out accidentally. So if you don't have the earphones, you will not be able to tell that. At the same time, on our screens, we are supposed to be seeing the buffer. We are supposed to be keen enough all the time while doing the recording to see the buffer, because as you record the audio, there'll be signals indicating there as someone speaks, it shows. So if you always have the display on, you'll be able to see that. So I'll ask us also to always keep our displays on, at least information to be on the screen, so that as we do recordings, we try to help us get that audio. So that is to solve the problem of the audio that we've been having almost most of the time. That is on the audio side. On the light, as we've said, kindly, if they can walk and the house is dark, or they can move, put the sick of the Lord outside the house. You can just request them to move out, and you do your interviews right in front of the door or in front of the house with their compound, if that is if you are doing it at home. Like whenever mobilization is done, people go to homes to film the sick. It's not a crime to ask them, kindly, it's dark in the house, could we kindly do it outside here? It's very much possible. So let us be courteous enough, humble enough to make them understand why we are doing that. Just let them know that because the lighting is poor, we'd love to do it outside. That is to cater for the lighting. We can use the natural light outside. In some houses, yes, but we have the low watt kind of bulb, yes? So we'll try also to do that to help us. At least you just ask them to move out, or if the light is sufficient enough in the house, let's use that. Let's go to transfer of data. Before you leave the scene, I don't hear you, okay. Before you leave the scene, try and check your videos. Just confirm if you have the videos. It would be costly or painful if you are assigned. Maybe Pastor Lamek Oliet is asked to go and help Kakamega people. With this camera, he carries, goes there, but did not check. Days later, he's asked to give us the clip. Then he says like, oh, there was a mistake. I did not press the record button. So after dealing with one, there's that thumbnail on our cameras. We call thumbnail. Just check if you have the video before you leave the scene. Because if you are within the scene or the locality or the same area, you can still ask them, sorry, there was a technical issue with my camera. Can we do the interview again? Don't feel shy. We learn from the mistakes we make. So it's important you check with your camera and know if you have the right full. If you did not frame right and you feel you missed a thing, just ask the bishop or the pastor or the correspondent or the person in charge and say like, I feel I didn't do this right because maybe this was missing or that was missing. So that you leave the scene. If you paid the transport or transport was paid for you, we will not pay the transport again for you to go do the same thing, but we pay transport again so that you do something else, which will be important. I believe up to that, maybe I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Fred.
Thank you. I think yes, there's a question which was not handled from Kevin Gashemi, and Kevin asked, many DSLRs do not have an earphone port. How can it be handled?
And that's why there is something also Brother Innocent has touched about, and I wanted Innocent to talk about it and handle that question. Because Brother Innocent has said there is also need to understand types of DSLR to us as which to buy. So I would like to welcome Innocent to explain more about that.
Oh, okay.
Then, yes. then he can handle the
before
question
you invite him.
Yes.
Of Kevin.
Yeah, of Kevin.
Oh, okay, then Innocent.
Innocent.
Okay, yes, please.
Yes, the floor is yours.
Praise the Lord. So there are actually we need to understand the kind of or the types of DSLRs we have, both from the leading companies. We have like Canon, Nikon, Sony, Lumix, many others. So we need to understand which types of cameras that we need to use for Gate 1, and which can be better, especially when monitoring sound. You'll find that most of the entry-level DSLRs, those ones that cost a bit, they are a bit cheaper. They range from around 30 to 50, around there, 50,000. So most of those entry-level DSLRs, they lack. Some of them lack microphone ports and earphones or headphones port. So it's if for regions targeting to buy, if they choose to use DSLR, because it's better to have those camcorders like Fred talked of the camcorders or the professional video cameras. They are better off because for those kind of cameras, you can monitor the video, you can check the channels there, the buffering on the screen, you can easily monitor them. But for DSLR, you find that most of the DSLRs that have both the microphone and headphone ports on them, and you can also monitor them on screen, they are a bit pricey. So you'll find a camera like, let's say on a Canon 90D or 80D. These are mid-range cameras. Or you go to other bigger cameras like the Canon 5D Mark IV or Mark III, and many others. You go to Nikon D850 or D750. Those are high-end cameras. For them, they all have, they nearly have all these features that we are trying to look at. But so it all matters. What is the budget of buying the camera, and what you really want to, what you intend to use that camera for. So if you want the camera for Gate 1 and you really need to monitor the sound, and the camera should have both the microphone and the headphone port, you really need to chip in your pockets or have a slightly bigger budget. Let's say 100,000 or 120 or 150,000 around there. So between 100 and 150,000, I think you can get a good DSLR with all those features. But again, you can also get some of this equipment which are ex-UK. They are imported from abroad. You can find them cheaper. They are being sold or in second party as second party equipment. So you'll find some of them, maybe they are good. I don't know if we can have a person maybe from this forum who does that. Maybe they import cameras. I'm aware there are people in Nairobi who import those XK cameras and they sell them at a cheaper cost, let's say around 70,000 or 80. So you can you can actually invest in that. So, but okay, someone say M50. Okay, so the M50, actually the M50, thank you, Jack. The M50 has the microphone port, but considering the headphone part of it, I think it doesn't have the headphone. It doesn't have a headphone. So you might, I don't know how you can monitor sound on that. So the only way to monitor sound on these cameras, these entry-level cameras, it's to record and then replay the video back.
So that's the only way to solve that problem. So you just record. You can have the mic on, but you cannot really monitor. It's very hard to monitor when you are recording during the recording. So the best way is just to record and then review the clip afterwards, because I know that's most regions and most people have the entry-level DSLR or cameras. So the best way is just record and review. But if you have a very good budget, you can get a good camera from 100,000 upwards. I think it can help. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Okay, you have answered it now. Like now. Okay, sorry, Daniel. Do I give you the floor?
Yeah, just a minute. Mine is also to add weight on that, and just to add weight on that. Well, there is a possible way of monitoring audio and having a microphone on your camera, even if your camera has got just one input port. I don't know if I can present my screen. And if you want to import a camera, you can just talk to me. I've imported several cameras for Deputy Archbishop Michael on this one. Okay, that aside now. I think let me present my screen. How is it done? Okay, your entire screen. So what do I do next? What are you seeing?
You are on. We are seeing you.
Me? No, I don't want to be seen.
We are seeing you and the white background.
No, can you now see another screen? Okay, let me see. Let me. Okay, let me present window. Which window? Hey, not in view. I think this one. Okay, and then what can you see now?
Okay, you are presenting now.
Okay, you can see these adapters.
Presentation. Yes, we are seeing the adapters.
Yes, we can see them.
Yeah. This adapter, you can buy one. If you see the adapter, it has let me bring the other one. You see it. And then this is a microphone mode, and then it goes to. So nobody is seeing. So,
you are audio.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, this is what you need to buy. If your camera headphone input, you need to buy this, or there are other smaller versions like this, but in as a vunjika very easily. I prefer you buy hizi zingine za kamba. And I've seen they're sold locally. Jumia is selling one at 956 shillings. This one. Can you see this? This page. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. You can buy this. You see it functions. It splits for you. It can really help you. You have your microphone there. You have your headphones to the side, and then you plug it into a camera. Jumia is selling it at 956 shillings. I think let me send the link to the chat button. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Back to you, Lamek.
Thank you much. This one goes to still on the question was supposed to be handled by Innocent. There's a question that was asked by Gashemi. That how fast should one change between a wide shot and a close-up shot? Innocent, are you still around?
Yes, I'm around. Okay, before I answer that question, Pastor Mondi, I don't know if there's a variation in those adapters, because there's a meeting, Menengai 2, I think. There's somebody who brought us such kind of adapters while we were in the meeting, and they didn't work for our cameras, and then we were wondering what's happening. So maybe, I don't know if there's variation, maybe you tell us. Okay.
Daniel, Pastor Daniel.
Okay, maybe. Can I answer the other question?
Yes.
Okay, so those shots, they need some kind of transition, and they don't always work in a same situation or for a same, let's say a similar situation. So there are different situations where you can apply those kind of shots. The different, you can, if for example you just want to dwell in an interview, you can begin the establishing shot, or the wide shot, and then you go to the medium, you do your interview, maybe the close-up, as Fred talked of, you focus maybe on the face, or maybe an extreme one, focus on the exact place. So when you're recording, when you're switching between these shots, you have a transition of movement, and this involves your hand must be strong. You don't have to be shaky. If you don't trust the hand, it's better you switch with your tripod. You switch from one shot to another. But if you want to have a movement shot, it means you have to be stable, transiting from the establishing, going towards to the close-up, because we are told not to zoom with our smartphone. So you need to move. You need to move your shot. So from establishing to the close-up or the extreme, you have to be actually very between the two. So you don't have to be very fast. You don't have to be extremely slow. So you just have to go with a normal speed, switching between the two. And don't want, so if equal chance, the type of somebody's microphone.
Somebody, I'm trying. Continue to, I'm working on it.
Okay, so we need to have those transitional movements, so that if you move very fast, you transit very fast with the shots, people will leave people wondering, and that's not professional. So you have to keep them smooth. If you're moving towards your subject or towards the condition you're going to focus, you have to move very swiftly. You have to not be very fast or not be very slow. So just have a normal speed when transiting between the shots. I don't know if you are satisfied with my answer, or somebody else can add in.
I want to add, Fred, that is Fred, I want to add, just to emphasize on what Brother Innocent is saying. Let's take typical example. Let's take a cripple is brought, yes? A cripple does not walk. There will be people helping this person to move. So at that point, you have the room to do a wide shot, introductory shot. You do a wide shot of the person being carried either on a wheelchair or something. As they move, the interview sort of started. They've reached the place that they're supposed to be interviewed. You pause your camera, you zoom into the medium shot to show that actually this person is seated on a wheelchair, because the first shot, the wide one you took, while the wheelchair either was carried on the wheelchair or he sat on a chair, and some 3 or 4 pastors or 4 brothers were helping to move. Wide shot of them, then close a medium shot of him now seated on the chair and with the people supporting. Now that's a medium shot. And because we'll be interviewing, before you start interview, if the legs are bowed, you can zoom close up on the legs to show that the legs are bowed. And or if it was a hand that is shrunk or something, you take your camera, you stop, you stop recording and zoom up to the hand that is shrunk, because we are talking about his hand. Start recording, take 10 to 15 seconds, like 5 to 10 to 15 seconds. That's enough, long enough to show. And then tell your interviewer, I am ready. Frame them in a mid shot that will show, or close. Do the interview. And as you listen, because you have earphone and you're following, if they say it is on this hand, there's what we call pan, and there's what we call tilt. Just if it was him talking up and it's on the leg, tilt down your camera slowly and nice, without interrupting. That's the speed Innocent was talking, not so fast like view that will be interfering. But tilt it nice and slowly. If he says that it was this left leg, this particular point, move the camera from his face, take it to the leg for a while, and roll it back. Stay on the face as he talks, like that is a medium shot. Listening, because that's why I was saying it was important to know. And then after he finishes and there's something you did not film, then tell your interviewer, please leave him there for me for some few more seconds. Go to those extremes, because maybe it was only deaf, but then during the course of the interview, you also realize they don't see. Go back for those shots of them, of the eyes. You try to get the deeper close-up shots of that. That is what we are calling the simple transition, not the transition during editing, but movement from one shot to the other. That's what Brother Innocent was referring to as transition. And that's what calls for camera persons to be more attentive. It calls for listening, not just putting camera there and making stories. Put the camera, listen, follow every word, so that you are able to know that this is what this person is talking about, and that will help you either pan, tilt, and get it. But if your camera has a problem, some of the DSLR cameras do have problems of zooming. Please, you can pause, take yourself closer to the person, carry your camera and tripod stand, record there, and that is for the close-up. Move back, stop recording, carry your camera back to the place you feel that is now wide enough if you want the wide shot. Start recording and get it. So the best rule is, I'd apply, if it applies to all of us, that we first do the cutaways. They are called the cutaways, or the building shots, before the main. You can work with your close-up, medium, and wide shot. During the interview, listen and follow keenly with the camera. But if you cannot move camera at those times as they talk, take the interview. When they finish, go back for those words that you are listening. That's why it's important for us to listen. If they said, my left arm is swollen at this point, that's the time that you go to get the left arm, that swollen part. And you can now go 3 shots on it, or even get extremer shot onto it. I think that's a response to that. It should never be too fast. It should never be too slow. But if you have the headphones or the earphones, you will follow the shot. But if you don't get it during the interview, so that we avoid moving the camera all the time, get the interview. After the interview, now go for those particular issues they were addressing. Because maybe it was on the back. It is my back that is swollen. But you have the camera, they'll be pointing. When you finish, you ask them, you talked about your back. Where is that back, so that I can see it? But it's only possible if we listen. I now believe you all agree that it's only possible to know what the person was saying if you are able to listen to what they are saying, following the fact that we do stand sometimes far away from them or sometimes closer to them. I'll leave it at that. I believe that answers the question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fred, Innocent, and Pastor Mundi on clarifying some of the question and some of the things that do happen at in the field. And I know your question has also answered and also solved like some problems that I had during Busia's meeting, whereby Bishop Alphonse was saying that most of the time when people are told to send some clips, someone sent a clip of a cripple, but there is only leg and no face. So you don't know. So by the end of the day, there is a miracle that has happened in your region, but now the clip cannot be used because we only have the leg and the voice, but we don't have the face of the person. So to join the dots is hard. So I know some correspondents are here, and they usually help us to submit some clips. At least they now know why it is important to zoom out, zoom in.
Do you want?
I was just clarifying something. Now I take this opportunity to welcome our host, my namesake, Pastor Lamek. I know he has also prepared something for us, whatever the Lord will help him with. Welcome, Pastor Lamek.
Thank you so much, Pastor Lamek, Brother Fred, Pastor Daniel, and Brother Innocent. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. Just to start with, I am very much grateful to the Lord for providing us this opportunity, even to have this meeting for the greater Nyanza region. I don't have much to say. All has been said, and I've learned a lot, things that I did not know. I've learned quite a number of things. The only concern that I was having, which I discussed with Senior Pastor Daniel, is that sometimes you realize that I've seen it in around 2 or 3 clips during the healing. You realize that gate 1, the healed of the Lord has put on the same cloth during the follow-up after the healing. So I was really concerned about that, that sometimes maybe people from outside can say that the entire thing has been stage managed. But Senior Pastor Daniel told me that there is an instruction that was given, that they need to put on the same clothes that they had put on from gate 1. That was the only concern that I was having. Another concern that I was having is about the storage. I was looking at what we were to cover. There is something that I was, another concern was about short editing. Last time when we were having a national meeting, we realized that some people, we send clips that there are so many that don't give time to Pastor Andy and the Senior Deputy Archbishop Michael proper time to edit. So I've not had editing being tackled, and how we can do editing. But I understand that because of time and so, I think we can have another meeting that we focus on editing that can be presented, used as we use the easiest editing software so far, so that whoever will be taking us through that can have the software demonstrated and how to install, or either in the phone or within the computer. So those are some few concerns that I was having. And also, last but not least, the storage, but it was talked about, which per region, within the Greater Nyanza region. We can see how each and every region to get at least 1 terabyte, which I think it's around between 6 to 9,000, depending on where you buy it, so that all the clips are kept safe, and then in case of anything, you can retrieve them. I want to echo what Pastor Larik said, that we keep on recording. I know even yesterday morning, the mightiest prophet, the Lord, decreed healing. So when we keep on recording, it will really give us easy time to retrieve all those recordings that we have done. Otherwise, thank you so much. Another storage place that we can make use of is online. Thank you so much. Welcome, Senior DAB, to the meeting. I just want to take it back to Pastor Lamek. May take it over, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Pastor Lamek. Now, before I welcome our DAB, welcome so much our father, our mentor, and our trainer, Senior DAB Bishop DAB Michael. Concerning what Lamek has talked about the storage of the clips, this meeting, it was there was a concern that was raised also by deputy correspondent and the senior correspondent, who usually receive the clips that we have recorded. That the time frame that we usually send the clips is worrying so much. That, for example, you have recorded a clip, the sick has been healed, but a problem now arose whereby now when the clips are needed, that some of us video team will delay with the clips. So I think our father and our mentor, DAB, Bishop Michael, will help us also in coming up with ways of how we can sort these ones out, and also the issue that we have raised about video editing. You know, as for us as video team members, crew, we know to record, but we don't know how the clips are to be edited, the formats, the sizes that is required at the head office. So we thank so much that our DAB Bishop is with us to help us in tackling all those questions. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome our Senior DAB Bishop Michael. Welcome, our father.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Bishop.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera has failed, but I would just trying to activate it, and I think I may have to restart my computer or something. But what I'm telling you, I'm very happy to meet with you this evening. Is my voice loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Yes, please. Very loud and clear, please.
Yes, Senior Bishop Michael, your voice is loud and
Yes, thank you so much. I think my computer did not accept the cameras. I have to maybe restart it, but that one can do it later. Now, what I can say is, when it comes to question of editing videos, what we'd rather require is just very basic. You make sure that at least your clips are not upside down. That at least when I look at your clip, I don't see you sitting on your head or on your side. I mean, at least the clip should be normal so that you can just watch it. Number two, basic editing means you cut out absolute garbage. I mean, just remove parts or clips that are totally unusable because of maybe they're not focusing on the right object, or they're totally shaky or out of focus, totally blurred, or something totally useless, so that you just cut out and send us useful clips and very basic editing means also maybe just check the lighting and whatever. So we have at least clips where we can recognize the faces of people. Basic editing can even be done with the most stations that can edit video. The format we would normally require is MP4. If you can send us clips in MP4, I think all the video editing software can easily accept the MP4 video. So I appreciate that it is important for video camera people to know how to edit. Even for just yourself, you will never be a good camera person unless you do editing. You will never, let me repeat that. You will never be a good cameraman unless you do editing. Because when you're doing editing, what messes you up are the mistakes of the camera person. You're going to be so frustrated when you see how this guy is shaking with his camera, how the lighting is unbelievably terrible, how it's out of focus. Those things will disturb you when you edit. So once you edit video, it will help you to improve your shooting skills. So I would recommend everybody to learn how to do video editing. If you are using, if you have access to a computer and you can use computer for video editing, there are various softwares that are very good for video editing, but it also depends on the quality of your computer. You know, if you have a very powerful computer, of course, you can use a more professional editing software. If your computer is rather basic, you have to go for a very basic editing software because the powerful softwares might not be able to run with a weak computer. They might hang or crash or take so many hours to render, because depending on the strength of your processor and your graphics card. But if you have a powerful machine with the good graphics card and with a good processor and enough RAM, then you can use also professional editing softwares. The most professional editing software that right now we have is Adobe Premiere for Windows, Final Cut Pro for Mac, and then there's this new program which I personally like and I use it very a lot, and it's free on the internet. It is called DaVinci Resolve. Very powerful. That program has a lot of tools. It's top professional, and it's free. You can use it. You can download it and use it free from the internet. But it needs a very powerful computer. Otherwise, it will be disturbing you a bit. It will hang. Your computer may hang or crash with it. But the other basic video editing, there's so many basic video editing programs, Power Director, whatever. I think every camera person should know how to edit. First of all, that will help you at least to give your clips a little better and more professional outlook. So when you are recording, some parts which are total garbage can be cut out, removed, and you can enhance at least a little bit, maybe some basic things like color, lighting, and whatever to make it look nice and good. So I would encourage you people to learn editing because that is now when you learn how to shoot video well. Once you edit, you will now face the challenges that our editing team are facing when you're presenting some clips which are not of any good quality. They really struggle with it. It's a headache. So for you to appreciate the problems our editors go through, it'd be nice to do some editing. So I would encourage everybody to learn editing. Especially if you're able to have access to a computer, it's a nice thing, and then it can also help you to make your clips better and also use them anyway. Because you can't use any clips without editing. When you're recording, you can also record with a smartphone if you have a decent smartphone. Most of the smartphones now have good cameras, especially the latest smartphones or the little big mid-range or upper range. They have very good cameras. And once you have enough light, a smartphone can record quite decent video. Okay, it may not compare with the DSLR or whatever camera, but it can be useful. It can be usable, provided you don't shake that smartphone, put it on something like a stand, either a monopod or a tripod, because if you do handheld with a smartphone, to hold it stable is a big challenge because it's very light and tiny. So people tend to shake a lot with it. So I recommend when you're using a smartphone, you use it on a stand, on a tripod, on a monopod, on a selfie stick or whatever you can put it on. Or just make a stick in the bush and fungana, athletic tape or something temporary, whatever you can get your hands on, so that the phone is not in your hand, because then it will shake. And then you can connect an external microphone. On most smartphones, it's very possible to connect external microphones on them. And so that when you're interviewing person, you don't use the inbuilt microphone of the smartphone, because you will record a lot of background noises, because your microphone might be too far from the person you are interviewing. So especially now when people are wearing masks, you realize that the mask is also taking a little bit of the sound away. So you rather have an external microphone close to the person interviewing, so that we can hear him very well. And when you're using telephones for a smartphone or whatever for recording, please kindly hold that phone in landscape mode, not upside down, because otherwise when you're holding it straight, that video cannot fit on a TV screen. So you just hold it in landscape mode. I could show it if my camera was working. Okay, if you can give me time, I restart my computer. I think I'll get my camera working. It's just because of some little problem with the computer. Maybe I can.
Yes, Jose, we can give you a few minutes to restart your machine and.
Yeah, so that the camera can work. It's just I don't know. It refused to work right now. Let me restart. I think when I restart, it will come up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Lame College, back to you.
Yes. Up to there where whatever Mzee has answered, I hope some of the questions have been answered. Pastor Lamed. Eric, are you in? Eric Pasweti? Someone near Idom area?
Oh, Pastor, Eric is following through the Facebook, through the YouTube live. I have seen his comment on YouTube.
Tell him, okay, can you just tell him to log in? Because as per now, we are only 86 members.
Okay, Pastor.
Yes, then I will also give you a chance, Kioi, after
yes.
Pastor Lamek.
Yes, please, Pastor Lamek. I've seen Kioi here, and you know when DAB talks about editing, and Kioi is very good at that, then Kioi will really help us on the same. Kioi, Steve.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To begin first, I want to just say we had begun editing, and that is where we shared the software with those people who were in the last meeting. I think we had the introduction of how editing works, but the number was not that big. We were about 45. That is when we began looking at basic introduction to editing. And I think if the number can also, if people are more into editing, and if everybody wants to become an editor, I think we can now move to the next part where we can now set apart a certain day and be doing editing. I think that is possible. Still, for those who are in need of software, I'm still sharing the software. In this case, I'm sharing Adobe Premiere Pro. So in case anyone has or is in need of the software, you also let me know so I can forward you the software. I'm forwarding Adobe Premiere Pro 2019 version and 2020 version. The reason for that is because Adobe is so far the best. If I can compare with Wondershare Filmora, Wondershare, which is many people are using. It's simple, yes, but I will prefer if we go with Premiere because it can do a lot of things. So we will just continue the training after the Senior Deputy Archbishop gives us the go ahead, and we will just plan through the regional leaders on how we are going to hold the training. Thank you, Pastor Lamek, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Brother Kioi. I don't know if our DA is back. Pastor Mondi, is our DAB back?
Seems not yet, but then okay. As we wait for him, I think I can invite the deputy chief correspondent, Senior Bishop Alphonse, to talk to us even as we wait DAB to come back.
Yes, welcome him.
Welcome so much, Senior Bishop Alphonse.
Oh, Bishop Alphonse.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. Welcome, Bishop Alphonse.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. As I was saying, we are working together with the video team. The Get One team inclusive, we're working together because we came to understand that due to lack of coordination. And so that's why we decided to come up with these trainings, that we may bring this training as a team, as a Get One team, so that we may have no rooms for mistakes. So one thing I just want to emphasize is working as a team. Please, as you go to work out there, each team should know where they should work. Let the video team play their part perfectly. Let the interviewers play their part perfectly. Let the correspondents play their part perfectly. But most of all, let there be coordination. Let there be coordination between the video crew and the other team.
Smartphone or even with the camera is the lighting. You check your lighting. You see that? Like right now, you see my camera is working. You can see my picture looks almost professional. And the reason I'm using a very the whole idea is, the whole secret is in the lighting. Once you do good lighting, you make sure that your subject is well lit, there isn't any light hitting the camera, you're not dealing with backlight. Then you can see the faces of people, you can see everything well. So also, of course, with a smartphone, I wouldn't recommend for you to record indoors with poor lighting because those of smartphones, they have small sensors, so they can't deal with the low light. They can never produce good. And you make sure that there's enough, the lights and shadows are controlled, meaning when you're recording, the light is on the people, not hitting the camera. So once you do good lighting, even with smartphones, provided you have light. Without light, even professional cameras do struggle a lot when it's low light. But of course, smartphones, because they have much smaller camera sensors, they have a bigger challenge recording with lower light. So lighting is very key when you are using any camera, but especially with smartphones. So that is what I'm saying. If you don't have cameras, record with smartphones. The challenge right now we are having, and I've shared this with other Gate 1 teams and video teams in other regions. The big challenge we are right now having is our Gate 1 ministry. And as you all aware, the video team was actually created or installed because of Gate 1. Otherwise, you see, during the meetings of the Lord, to cover the meetings, it doesn't need so many cameras. Maybe 3, 4, 5 cameras can cover a meeting. But what has been the challenge is Gate 1, where you have thousands of sick people who need to be recorded. That is why we needed to come up with a very big video team to be able to record all our sick whenever they arrive at the Gate 1. But now it has changed because now healing services are no longer in one place. Healing services are no longer in a physical field where the sick arrive and can be assembled at a certain Gate 1 where you can record them. But healing services are now done globally through our radio live broadcast and through video live broadcast. They are done online. So the righteous prophets of the Lord are just decreeing healing from Nairobi here, and people are healed globally in many nations, which is a big blessing, and it's a very powerful healing anointing of the Lord. But for us to do Gate 1 ministry now effectively, we basically have to go out to every village, to every town, to every area, and look for the sick in their homes and record them wherever they are. they're no longer coming to us. You know, when they used to come to the field, it was somehow easy. We can assemble our cameras at gate 1 and people line up and are being recorded. But right now, the whole system has changed. The gate 1 has been decentralized, meaning you have to look for the sick wherever they are and go to their homes and record them there. So that is a lot of work. And it's very important that we do that, because gate 1, that is where the glory of the Lord is. Once you have the testimony, the healing testimony, without gate 1, it becomes almost difficult, almost if not impossible, to highlight that testimony, because it cannot be verified. There isn't any physical proof that that person was sick. So blackmailers and people, anybody can just start doubting the testimony or blackmailing it, or, you know, rubbishing it, saying, no, that guy was not even crippled. I mean, you just see somebody's walking, but you don't know the condition he was in before he was healed. But once you see the condition before, that is now where you understand the magnitude of that healing. You understand the seriousness of that sickness. So gate 1 is very key, because that is where the glory of the Lord is. Process of revamping and enhancing our video teams, our gate 1 teams. Right now, you people should be out in the villages. You shouldn't be sitting in your homes. You should be out in the villages recording sick people, because as you realized, a healing decree was issued even last night after our Kesha, towards the end of the Kesha, meaning people will be healed. And then the question is, have you already recorded them? Have you recorded all the sick in your surrounding, in your region, in your county, wherever, in your jurisdiction? So that whenever a healing decree is issued, or whenever a healing service comes up on radio or on video streaming, have you prepared yourself in your region? Have you recorded all the sick people already? It is not like before, where we had enough time to mobilize and to prepare. You remember even the healing service that was done in March 19th, it was announced just about a week before. So there wasn't too much time for everybody to go around. So because now gate 1 is decentralized, the work has become much more for the video team. Meaning we ought to have video teams, or we now can call them gate 1 teams, because it's not just video team, because the camera person has to go at least with an interviewer, maybe even with a medic, or with the correspondent, to meet the sick people wherever they are and record them, so that we can have some powerful clips, powerful testimonies that can be used for our global broadcast. So now, because also the broadcast is global and it is ongoing on weekly basis, you see now, again, tomorrow we just have our Sunday service. Again, that will be a lot of testimonies will be shown there. And then again, we have Wednesday service, we have Friday Kesha. So it becomes very crucial to have very powerful gate 1 recordings, because those services are broadcasted globally. You see, we have been trending with our services in many nations, including Australia, Germany, including many nations in Africa, Uganda, wherever. We have been trending in Italy, in Europe. We have been trending in many nations, and also trending number 1 or number 2 globally is not a small thing, meaning that so many people are following this program from so many nations. And you can even see right now the way many churches and pastors and bishops from other countries are also joining the ministry of the Lord. You can see that they have been watching those programs, they have been listening to the messages of the Lord. So it's really global now. The ministry is now global. So whatever your recording should be global broadcast quality. And that is where the challenge is. Many a times we're still receiving some very garbage, useless clips, which can surely, if you broadcast them anywhere, it's blackmail. You're blackmailing the Lord. People will mock us, they will laugh at us, they will wonder, what is this you're trying to show? So there's no any reason why we cannot even produce a decent broadcast quality recording, because right now, as I said, even some modern smartphones can do that, provided you are able to take some few steps, for example, to make sure that the lens of your smartphone is clean. Because sometimes we touch our smartphones, there are a lot of fingerprints on our lenses. So before you do any recording, at least you have a soft cloth, you wipe your lens. Those are basic things which are sometimes very shocking. You get very, very blurry videos because somebody is recording with a smartphone and the lens is actually dirty. And yet it's just a handkerchief to clean that lens or a soft clothes, and you could produce a very, very nice video with that same smartphone. So as I'm saying, it is very, very important for right now to record all our sick in our areas, and meaning we have to recruit more people to have a bigger team so that we can be able to reach all the villages, because it is quite a lot of work to go to everywhere where the sick people are and find them and record them. So we need to include more people in our team and train them. And again, as somebody mentioned, I heard somebody saying in this forum that we need also to incorporate the other teams, like the interviewers, the correspondents, in this team, so that we can work together, because at least when you go out, you have to have a team so that you can do interviews, you can do powerful recordings, and also show us the things that the sick person cannot do at gate 1. Just show us any sign of that sickness that is visible, that can be visible on camera. That is where the glory of the Lord is. So I think that was just a little bit of introduction. I would rather like also to respond to questions. You people have been on the field out there. You may have gone through challenges. You may have faced a lot of situations right now since the lockdown began. We are not meeting in churches. We are moving out in the villages to look for the sick people. So I would appreciate for you to ask questions or tell me and tell us where your challenges or shortcomings have been, so that I may also be able to support wherever I can or give you advice. So I think this is an open forum, this is a fellowship, this is a discussion. So I won't just like to lecture you here, but because we have been doing training workshops, and basically I think people have been trained on most of the things, especially on how to shoot some quality videos. I hope everybody has been trained. If you have not been trained, I'm suggesting we have online training workshops that could be organized by our national coordinator, Senior Pastor Daniel Mondi, and the regional coordinators, so that we may be able to train people through forums like this Zoom here or Google Meet or whatever, so that we can be able to train online, because right now is traveling and meeting physically because of the very, very high infection rate of the coronavirus becomes a challenge. So kindly, this is a fellowship. So I would like to respond to your questions, hear your challenges, so find out where you need support, what kind of support do you need, so that we can enhance. Right now the work is a lot. The video teams, Gate 1 teams should be all over in the villages right now recording the sick, because anytime a healing service can come up abruptly, and furthermore, healing is being decreed in almost every program and people will be healed. So it's very important before they are healed, we have Gate 1, so we can really glorify the Lord and celebrate that testimony. Yes, so thank you so much. I'm very open for questions and suggestions from the team. I'd like to fellowship with you, and I'll give you that chance. You can type your questions on the chat, and somebody, one of the leaders will go through them, or you can raise your hand and speak here, so that I may be able to respond to questions and challenges that you're having and give you the much needed support. Thank you so much. It's a big blessing to meet with you today. Somebody's not hearing the sound. Is my microphone loud and clear, please?
Yes. Your microphone is
very loud and clear, blessed DAB.
That means whoever is not hearing maybe has a problem with his own system. There needs to check his headphones or restart his gadget. Thank you so much. So I want us to fellowship together. It's a big blessing to be with you in this meeting, and I appreciate you very much. We have a big challenge. We need to enhance our teams in every region so that we can reach each and every village and record the sick wherever they are. That's a lot of work. People have to be, that means also almost every small altar in every small village must have a video team, again, one team, to record the sick in that region, because you see, our national team or our regional teams cannot be able to reach every village. And the sick people in those villages, and sometimes the Lord has been healing the ones from the most remotest villages, in the real interior places, and it'd be so important to go to those villages and record some very powerful Gate 1 videos. So again, I'd like to hear from you. Ask me questions. I'm with you here. I'm ready to give you answers wherever I can and also give you support, because one ministry again is also very amazing, because right now our ministry is more important than ever. More important than ever. Why am I saying this? Look, we cannot have crusades anymore. Crusades right now, because of Corona, since more than 1 year, it has been shut down, and we don't know for how long that will continue. Even church services right now we don't have. We cannot do evangelism, we cannot do meetings. But look, the ministry of video team is important, more important than ever, because we are broadcasting those clips every week on 3 days, and it's broadcasted globally. So your clips, whatever you recorded, the interviews you did, the updates of the healed people you're sending, they get one clips. They're being used, because now the only church, the only ministry we can do is online ministry. So everything is now computer and video. That is the only way to do ministry. You have to have a computer, you have to have a camera, you have to have clips to show people. There's no, there's no any other ministry that's still running, but video team ministry has become more important and more vibrant, because in this lockdown now, everybody is now depending on camera. Everybody is depending on internet. Because physical meetings, physical evangelism are no longer possible. And right now we are ministering, the mighty prophets of the Lord are reaching large millions of people all over the nations globally through this live broadcast. Which is done on radio and also on video. So again, the ministry of K1 during this lockdown has become more important. Right now, everything is online, everything is camera, everything is watching videos. That is it. That is a ministry that still are no longer able to run. If you're an usher, there's very little work right now when the churches are closed. If you are a worshiper, worshipers are at home, you can worship in your house, but you see, there's no, it's not easy even you cannot even meet with others for worshiping practice during this Corona lockdown. If you are in the decoration team, there isn't much to decorate when they are closed. If you are serving in security team, well, the security team has been resting in their homes for the last 1 year, because we don't need much security when we are online, unless we just guard the headquarters from where we are broadcasting. So all the other teams in the church are basically dormant and idle right now, but video team is more vibrant, more needed, more important, more central than ever before. So we are the ones whose ministry is still really running kabisa, and we're so busy recording our Get Ones and recording updates of healed people and interviews. We are more busy than ever, and our clips are more needed than ever, because before we used to record a lot of clips which were never shown. They were very important. So we need to strengthen our teams, we need to record more people, and we need to become a bit more professional, so that whatever we are producing is in line with the international podcast standards. So we're not blackmailing the Lord. People don't laugh at us and they, oh, these are Africans, they don't know what they're doing. No, we can be in Africa, but we are qualified, we're serving the Lord, and we do professional work. Amana Nagani. Yes, we don't want to laugh at us when they look at our clips and say, oh, these people never went to school, they don't even know how to hold a smartphone straight or whatever. I think it's not a good testimony to present globally. So that qualifications and our integrity, because when you're showing a very, very poorly recorded clip, and what are you trying to portray to the global audience? Are you trying to show them that we are primitive, that we are uneducated, or that we don't know what we are doing? So I think we have all the resources. Even with just a nice smartphone, you can do a very decent recording that glorifies the Lord and that also keeps a high standard of the Lord, upholds that standard in the ministry, so that when people watch our videos even globally, they'll be impressed, they'll be shocked, they'll just focus on the miracle, they will not focus on how much you are shaking with your camera. No, let us not have those impediments which can distract people from focusing on the miracle. They're now focusing on the poor quality of recordings instead of seeing the miracle, the big miracle God has done. So I think video team now, look, during this lockdown, your ministry is almost the only ministry that's still running. Others have been somewhat grounded. Other departments of the church are not able to do much. But us, we even need to do more now, because now We have to go and reach out to all the villages, to all the homes of wherever sick people are. And of course, you have to take a lot of precautions right now because some people may be infected with coronavirus, and we don't want you people or any of us to catch it. So our precautions, social distancing, masks, washing hands, all these things need to be very, very, very tight right now. And even means of traveling, you don't sit in an overcrowded matatu. You have to arrange in a way that you're not endangering your own safety, your own health. I think those are some of my opening remarks, but I would like to fellowship with you. I would like to hear from you, where you have challenges, where you have questions, and I would like to...
Thank you. That actually the video team right now is the most important department, because that is the major tool that we are using right now. As you can see that the Lord has narrowed down to the testimonies, that now the nations globally are looking at these visitations, the shocking visitation of the Lord and the healings that are taking place globally. And essentially they are using the videos actually now. They have become a very important tool, because when now the nations are seeing the before clips of somebody that was totally crippled, and then the after clips of somebody that was totally crippled, and then now can walk perfectly without any support, then you can see the reception of even the nations globally. They are returning back to the Lord. And so that becomes a very important, that becomes very, very important to this department, especially of the Gate One, that we may carry out this service of the Lord very, very seriously, without any mistakes. In fact, if there's anything to carry back home, is that there is no room for mistake. We only have one option, and that is to do it perfectly without any room for mistakes. That's why you can see that now, even at this time later of the night, we have the Blessed Deputy Senior Bishop taking us through these trainings so that we may do it perfectly for the glory of the Lord. Because understand anything, it's not a sin to ask. Nobody, hakuna mwenye ataona kwamba umekuwa mjinga ndo ukauliza. Asking is knowing, inquiring is knowing. We are also bishops. Some of us are departmental heads, but we are still in the process of learning. That's why we also want to partake of this training so that we may learn one thing or another. It does not mean you are perfected, but we are still in the process of learning. So in case you do not understand anything, in case something is not clear, you're free to ask, because it's better you ask and do it perfectly, other than know it all, and then at the end of a wrong thing that will encourage us as a team. Let us inquire and let us.
I can see the questions are flowing. The first question is from Olivia Francis and is asking, praise the Lord, Senior DAB. How do we handle a situation where you visit a sick person at home and they don't want their photos taken? What happens when they get healed after?
Of course, this is a very good question, and that's a very serious challenge. And no, many of us may have gone through that challenge. You're reaching a home and the sick person does not want to be recorded, or they don't want that person to be recorded. Well, of course, we cannot force anybody to allow us to record it. We cannot record people without their consent. Even that would be against the law of the land. You cannot just record somebody without permission. So in that case, we would need maybe before we come with the recording, some work needs to be done, maybe by pastors, evangelists, or even by some of us, our correspondents or video team members. You could, for example, by having some clips on your smartphone, say, look, the Lord is now healing people. The mightiest prophets of the Lord are in the land and they're decreeing healing. And then you can show them some of the before and after clips. You see, that is why we are recording sick people, so that when they are healed, we can give the testimony and glorify the Lord. So they may understand the reason of purpose, why we are recording them. You see, a lot of people are also suspicious because the press generally has sometimes has a reputation which is not very good. You can see people going around recording videos, and then later they put it in the news, they blackmail you, they embarrass you. Some may be recording for personal financial gain. So some people may not necessarily trust you. So I think it's very important when you record the sick, you go with the person they know and they trust, like a local pastor, somebody close to them, so that they may introduce you, so that you may not go. Let's say you are from Kisumu, and you're going to a village somewhere in Homa Bay to record a sick person. He doesn't know you. They don't know who is this guy coming with the camera. They get scared. They wonder, is this press reporter? Is he going to put me in the news and embarrass me with my sickness? Or is he somebody who could be or CID trying to investigate how we are treating the sick people here? You know, people might be suspicious for various reasons, and we can understand that very well because we know a lot of news media houses have really sometimes embarrassed and also blackmailed people. So we can understand. Even me, I wouldn't just if you come to ICM or where I'm the director, I wouldn't just any stranger allow come with the camera and start recording things because you don't know what do they intend to do with those recordings. So I think trust and understanding is what needs to be developed, so that the sick person takes it positively and understands why you are recording, that actually our aim is to help that person and also to facilitate the glory of the Lord, and to also, you know, we're trusting the Lord that this person can be healed. So I think in that cases, work with the local people on the ground, local church elders, local pastors who are known to those people, so they don't find a total stranger walking into their homes with a camera and get suspicious or get worried of what is this. Let some local people, pastors, neighbors.
One of the among of the victims of the same. But what really helped me at first when I visited that family and we asked them to record, they were really hesitant. Then the second healing service, when I went a bit early, and I showed the mother some of the healed, and when the father also came, I showed him some of the healed, and then they allowed me to record their son who is totally crippled. I think that advice is really working when we use the previous healed clips before and after. I think that one also is really helpful for them. One question that I was asking, which I'd already I'd just mentioned it here, you realize that at some given point when we go for recording, and then we record them, and then the healing service comes, and then the Lord touched them, and then now when we are going back to their to revisit or to take now after healing, sometimes are they allowed to put on the same clothes that they had put on before the healing? Because one thing I was thinking that, that's my concern, that someone might think that we are stage managing the whole process. I don't know how about that.
Normally, the mightiest prophets of the Lord normally encourage people to wear the same, easier for identification. Because even in some of the clips, the faces may not come out very clearly. And once you wear the same clothes, you can clearly see it's the same person. You can clearly see, oh, that is the same person. So what makes it very clear that surely this is the same person, it's not a different person. Yeah, otherwise, you know, maybe there could be somebody who looks very similar, who was sick, you're recording that one, and then you're recording another person who could be a sister or a brother walking. But when they wear the same clothes that they were wearing when they were sick, it wear the same clothes, so that people cannot say, oh, this is a different person, because now maybe it's dressed differently. And also another thing that we would like sometimes to avoid is dressing these people in our ministry kind of clothes. You know, as a ministry, we almost have a uniform. You see how our ladies are dressed in a certain way, how our men are dressed in beautiful suits. We can do that during celebrations now. We'll buy a suit for the person and he is dressed nicely. And but, you know, when you are now taking the immediate testimony and you dress them in ministry clothes, it creates an impression, wow, you know, that could give the suspicion of stage managed, because mama hiyo kanisa too. But you see, some of these people are not even members of our churches, so let them just wear whatever they have been wearing out there, so they don't look like we are just recording only our members, because our members are clearly known by the clothes they wear. Because the holy dressing that has been kind of fashionable in the ministry is almost like an identity marker. People know these are our members. So when somebody has been healed who has not been a member of this church and was dressed in different kind of clothes, even that interview can be done in the same clothes he was wearing that time. So it's clear that they're not even part of us. They may not even have been members of this ministry. But of course, during the celebration now, when the big celebration comes, you can buy them suits and make them look better. But generally speaking, the mighty prophets of the Lord prefers if they can be wearing the same clothes they were wearing when they were sick. That makes it very clear that actually this is the same person, not somebody else.
Thank you so much for that clarification, please.
Thank you.
Could I answer the same question?
Yes, Fred, you can ask.
Yes. First, thank you so much, Deputy Senior Archbishop Michael Niswan, for the clarification you've done. Basically, it is called continuity. For those who do features, you show the same person wearing another cloth. Thank you so much for that. But my question now comes in also, Daddy, in this aspect. Forgive my journalism in this. You realize that when you go to film a child, maybe they're not in the ministry, there's child protection rule that requires us to have a consent form before you film a child. Could the same be introduced in the ministry, or how best do you categorize this? Because sometimes they're not allowed to film the faces of children, especially when the pictures go global, especially if a number of times when we do our work and it goes to America and other places, we do not show the faces of the children. It gets blurry. And that also makes those that are not in the ministry to refuse and might think we are soliciting, maybe going to take their pictures or videos for our own personal gain. What advice would you give us on this in regards to the right of protection of the children? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very professional question. I know you're a professional journalist and you have to really take care of those things very much, and we appreciate that. And of course, we would like to work within the law. But I don't think in Kenya here that we are not allowed to record faces of children. And if they're supposed to be made blurry for whatever purposes, that can always be done during the editing process. But since we are broadcasting from Kenya, of course, we need a consent. We cannot record somebody's child without the consent of the parents. That would be we could be sued for that, right? But well, you know, ours is not news in a way that it would infringe on children's rights. We are celebrating the healing of that child. We are actually it's not in any way diminishing or dehumanizing the child. But of course, we cannot record somebody's child without permission from the parents. I think that would be very clear. Otherwise, you don't blurry the faces of children when you're recording. If there is need for whatever legal purposes to do so, that can be done during editing process. Normally it's even done during the editing process, that the editor now blurs out a part of the picture, which at times we can do, maybe if somebody is dressed in a very indecent way or showing some parts of the body which are, you know, not supposed to be shown. So then in that case, the editors will be able to blur out that part of the picture. But as far as recording is concerned, I think in Kenya, if you are recording children and with the consent of the parents, you shouldn't have any legal problem in this country. And since we're operating from here, we are mainly concerned about the laws over here. And of course, our live stream is global, but you see, we are based here, we are answerable to the authorities in this country. I hope that makes it clear, or if there's anything maybe you want to add, because you're more professional in this line. I know you're a journalist and you have to take a lot of precautions because you can be sued even globally. So, but I think for us, as long as we are recording children with consent from their parents, we shouldn't have any serious problems. So far, I've not heard about any problem on that.
Thank you so much, Daddy, if I'm allowed it. Thank you so much, Daddy, if I'm allowed. I was only asking for us because you realize when meeting goes, mobilization is done. And we go filming out. Sometimes some people bring children. The neighbors bring the children of the children, the children of the neighbors. In this case, do we need to have the consent form signed by the person bringing the child, or we just okay for us? I've not said we've had the problem before, but at times it does happen that you find a child alone with no caretaker, but a neighbor instead is left with this child. What would be the best advice? Because a number of times the children are brought, but we've not had such like cases severally. It's only one time or two times. Now I'm not asking for the journalistic, but now for the ministry. Should we also introduce the consent, or is that okay once we have the people that we believe know these people well? Because sometimes any blackmailer out there would want to say, like, I did not allow them to have my child, or why did they have the picture of my child? I remember there was this time, sorry to use this experience again, we had a difficulty. We went to Busia. The work was well planned, but being that it was a Catholic school, they felt a little bit diminished because we were in the school, and we had to have another meeting that took some time to explain actually what was taking place, whereas the leadership that was concerned had even gone far to explain all this. So there was that fear of maybe we are media, maybe it is not that. So what would be the best way to take care of this, especially with institutions where there are other children as well in the same school? For example, we went to the school of Busia School, where we had some people who had been healed, and we were going to come to do the pre-healing filming, so that should they be healed, we have a video to present, a case to present, to prove and or really give glory to the Lord that indeed this is what they were before, and now this is what they are. When going to institutions, what would you advise us to do in this case? Yes, thank you, Senior Bishop.
Yeah, I think, okay, I also run an institution. I have an orphanage at ICM, and I think it is common practice and also within the law, before you do any recording in any institution, you get permission from the leadership of that institution. Meaning if it's a school, you go to the headmaster, you explain very well what you are doing, introduce yourselves very well, show him the before and after clips, and ask him, there are some students in your school we would like to record, to interview, can you allow us? If they allow you, go ahead. If they don't allow you, don't do it. Because even me, I mean, if you just walk in ICM, somebody walks just in and come and starts recording, I would arrest that person, because you don't know what they're after. It is really, I think, we have to respect the authorities. If you're recording in a school, get permission from the headmaster of that school. If it's any institution, get permission from the leadership of the institution. If the institution refuses, then you can record that child outside the institution. When he has left school, he has gone home, and get permission from the parents. But if you are recording in an institution, it is prudent to get permission from the leadership. In some of those institutions we are known, we may have some people who are in the altars working there. Maybe a teacher who is born again can explain to the headmaster, can introduce you to the headmaster, this is our team from our church. we want to record this because of this and this. Look, these powerful healings have happened. You show them some clips before and after. So make the headmaster, whoever, understand. But definitely, if you go to a Catholic school and you do recordings without permission of the authority, that's a very serious crime. You can be sued for that very badly. You cannot do that. So please kindly don't record anything in an institution, inside the institution, without permission of the leadership of that institution or the teacher in charge or whoever is there. Now, but if they refuse, then you'll record the same person when it's left the institution, when it's gone home or something. So that one now, it will not be under the authority of the management of the institution. That would be now under the authority of the parents, isn't it? So I think we have to honor the leadership of institutions. We cannot go into somebody's school or into somebody's children's home or wherever recording people without permission, or into somebody's hospital. We cannot do that. Even if you record people in hospitals, you get permission from the leadership, from the person in charge. Definitely with that one, otherwise we'll be breaking the law, and we'll also expose ourselves to attacks from blackmailers, as you have just mentioned. So let us not record people in institutions without permission. If an institution refuses to give us permission, we go and record somewhere else. Or we wait for that person to come out of the institution when he's on holiday, when he's going home, and then we record them at home. I think that is the best way to go about it. But recording without permission from the leadership can put you into serious problem, even legally, and it's quite unacceptable. Yes, even it's much against the law. So we won't like to run into battles with the law. As Christians, we are law-abiding citizens. We obey and honor the laws of the land, and we follow them. Yes.
Thank you so much. Maybe just to add to what the Blessed Deputy Senior Bishop Michael Nison has said, this is Bishop Alphonse, that actually the school he's saying is the Mundika School of the Deaf and Dumb. Number one, that school is a Catholic school. It's owned by the Catholic school. It's a mission school. With that, they know the challenges that are involved in that. And what they did is very true. The authorities. So most of the time, I've been liaising with one of the teachers, that is Mr. Olo, the senior teachers in that school, and that's how I've been doing it. But resistance, and I want to thank Senior Deputy Bishop Michael Nizwan, and I think this one should be taken to all the Get One teams, that when dealing with institutions, they should first ask for permission from the authorities, because that's a problem you have been having, that people have just been storming institutions without asking for permission, and then they end up not recording, or they recorded, and then after the healing, maybe they recorded this person from home, and then after the healing, this person was in school. So you find out that somebody is going to an institution or a school and thinks that that institution or that school is his or is for the ministry. No, that is a problem that we have been having. So I think the directive by the Deputy Senior Bishop Michael Nison is very, very key, and it should be circulated to all the Get One members, that they need, if it is getting information from any institution, especially for the schools for the disabled, let them last very, very well with the institution, get the permission from the principal or the head teacher, so that they can record those students. Otherwise, itakuwa mambo mengine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Senior Bishop Alphonse. I think we'll go to the next question. Jack Owenga, you had a question. You can bring it forth.
Thank you very much, Senior Pastor Moja. I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are.
Well, my name is Jack Owenga from Busia. I'm the interim video team leader for the whole county. And I'm also standing in for Spare County video team. And first of all, I want to appreciate the fact that some of the key points that we have been facing during recording has been highlighted, especially the one that has happened. The one that happened in Mundika School. And I don't want to repeat of the same. Well, my question is, they had an experience when we were going out to record the speaking here, I was challenged by a correspondent who told me that they had been instructed that they should be doing all the interviews in English, in that even if the person is speaking in Kiswahili, but there should be a translation. And then he was also asking that they were instructed so, but when he was checking, and I can even confirm, when I was watching the clip for Nancy Michelle, the translation part of it was removed from that clip. So maybe Deputy Senior Archbishop, you can clarify to us what you're supposed to do, especially when interviewing the speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, first and foremost, we would like to highlight, to focus on the sick, not on our people. You see that? Meaning the camera should be on the sick, not on the translator so much. Once in a while, you can be showing them if there is need for translation. But we also don't want to interrupt the flow of the story. You see that? We don't also want a video to appear like it has been doctored or it has been manipulated. You see, if you see, for example, a bishop, like Bishop Benham's interviewing a person, some people can thrash that video and say, winners Kofiao, they were manipulating them what to say, isn't it? We would like the interviewer to be looking as much neutral as possible. And for example, mostly we don't need to see the interviewer in the picture. We need to have the person. The questions that are being asked, we're not interested in those questions. We're interested in the answers. Out of the answers that the sick person will give, we can build a story, isn't it? I mean, those are reporters among you, they will know that. We normally cut out our interviewers quite a lot also from some of the clips, because what we want is a story of flow of story, narration from the person concerned, from the person whom we are interviewing. If it is sick, who has been healed, or the parents or the neighbors, let them give us their stories. Let us focus on them, not on other people. And then again, translation sometimes is necessary, but it also depends on how it is being done. You see that? Again, we don't want it to appear that we want to show ourselves or to promote ourselves in that clip, in that testimony, because it is for the glory of the Lord. Are you understanding the concern? What I mean by this is, if I as a bishop, if a sick person has been healed in my church and I put myself in camera and I start now translating, everybody seeing this is Bishop Michael. So am I trying to promote myself, or am I trying to glorify the Lord with that testimony? So it becomes a little bit of a conflict of interest of some kind. So what we'd like to do is we get the story from the person we are interviewing, and we don't put our bishops and our people so much in it, so much in the picture. Otherwise, it can look like this person has been manipulated, or we are putting words in their mouth what to say. You see that, for example, if you are interviewing somebody, the interviewer should not be really, for example, a bishop in the ministry, because that would look like there could be some manipulation. For example, if you are interviewing a student, we have reporters here, we have Pastor Fred here, very senior journalist. For example, if you're doing a news story and you want to interview a student from a school, you wouldn't want the headmaster of that school interview that student, because that would be biased. And so when you have a bishop interviewing somebody or translating and see the picture there, doesn't that look like manipulation is going on right there? Are you getting why we removed Benham's from that clip? You had to remove by instructions of the Lord, because that looks a little bit suspicious. Why is a bishop sitting there and translating? Is he trying to manipulate the story in his favor or what? So this could create some suspicion. So really, translation can be helpful, can be good, but it should always be done in a way that it never interrupts the person. So that if translation is not necessary, we can cut out the translator. And sometimes, you know, when you have the story just directly from the person, like the daughter of Nancy Mushero, that story of that girl, that what she gave on radio was so powerful. So we just use it in Kiswahili without any translation. And then the mighty prophet of the Lord translates it, summarizes it, or we can even do translation and type text in English, in the titles in English there. So it's not always a must to have translation, but sometimes translation is very, very helpful. And if possible, you just do it. But let it not be done by bishops. And let it not be done by featuring too much on the translator. Okay, normally, take an example, all the meetings of the Lord, all the meetings, all our live broadcasts, we've always been translating in Kiswahili, but I've never shown you the translator on video, don't even know how she looks like. Yeah, but you people, your bishop is there translating, now you're focusing on the bishop, it's now kujinua, that kind of thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for that clarification. And I hope all our listeners and viewers have got that point. And I really appreciate so much. Thank you so much. Back to you, Senior Pastor Daniel.
Senior Pastor Daniel, an input, please.
Yes, Fred, an input.
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to echo what Daddy Senior Bishop Michael has brought in. And that is why I think it would also be important for us to teach us how to do the interviews. I mean, that's the framing, how we do our interview. If we have to have someone it will be off the camera. I think we did that with the Busia team. They were able to see, like, they were sitting facing each other in an angle of, if you are to film a dialogue, but every person, actually translation is good, as our Daddy Senior Bishop Michael has said. For example, if you went to Masaini, we don't understand Masaini. If they translate, it will help the editor to understand the context, what they were saying, and the interviewer is not put up in the video. The same thing we do with the news. We never appear on the screen. You go out one-man army. You are the cameraman, you are the interviewer, you are the editor. You are only busy with the responses, what they say, respond to the question. If it does require deeper feelings, like maybe the person crying more, you zoom into the crying and the explanation of their own. Because when a story is told by a person themselves, it has weight more than when someone else tries to tell, oh, this person was this. But when he says, I am this, this is my condition, I have been through this, even if they're stammering in that state, it's perfect than you translating for me, telling me like, it's a stammerer. Are you a stammerer? Yes, it's a stammerer. So it is like you are pushing or forcing the words. And so far, because we are global, we are not Obunga or Nairobi alone, it's everywhere. And because of the issues that have also been there, we've seen other televangelists doing it on them. So to be different and to really give glory to the Lord, I think what Senior Bishop Michael has put in place is important. And that makes me feel we have to tell how to frame the interviews. Maybe perhaps in the next training, we should include that. How do we frame the interviews without our people being the people in the video? Because a number of times some dominate. And again, another weakness I have realized with us is that our interviewers don't give room to the people that are supposed to be talking, because they start talking and then you mean this is it. So it's like you're prompting moral rather than letting them tell themselves. We do cut them a lot. So I'd allow us to train to ask open-ended questions. What was the situation? What is the situation? What do you feel? Then they talk, and then we can do a follow-up question like, so this is what you're saying, paraphrasing. They respond again. So we should formulate our questions in a manner to allow them express themselves more and tell themselves more, so that our stories are told by the person themselves. A story told from a person is better than a story told by a third party. But for instance, you realize that the person talks and then a family member strengthens the story. Perfect, that works And that's a building stone to the story. The real person talked, and the family member added. We don't even need a translator for that, because two strong characters, that is the sick himself or herself, and a family member strengthening that really becomes strong. And I echo what our daddy, Senior Bishop Michael, did say at the moment. And I also ask us, like, we should also, as we do more trainings, we talk of the framing during the interviews. It is important. Like, how do we frame the interviewee with our interviewer? There's a position in which we put them, like if you've been watching films, there's a dialogue. So we use the rule of third to have more looking room of the person you're interviewing, looking to respond to this person as he responds here. The same way when he's seated on TV, you see them looking straight, you feel they're talking to you. So I think we need also to talk about framing. We don't have to all the time do the center, put the person, the sick at the center, but we can do the rule of thirds. Is facing or she's facing the interviewer, but interviewer is not in the frame, except the interviewee, the person you're interviewing. Thank you very much.
I think I really appreciate your professional advice very, very much, and I agree with you very much. We need to learn how to frame. The focus is the interviewed person. The focus is the person who is giving us a story, not the interviewer. The interviewer doesn't sometimes need to even appear much in the video. Maybe just on the periphery a little bit there, but our focus is always on the person whom we are interviewing. That is the person who gives us a story. And even when someone is interviewing, you never ask questions that can be answered by yes or no, because that is like you're manipulating, you're kind of manipulating your stage managing. You see that? Like, for example, if a reporter was sent to a school to interview children and find out how are you being treated by your teachers, and then the interviewer is the teacher, and he's saying, si mnakula vizuri hapa? Semeni ndio. Yeah, that kind of thing, you know. Everybody now is saying, no, this is manipulation, right? So you cannot do that. So you have to be mature, because that is global broadcast. So let the story be told without interruption by the person who is being interviewed, or the relative, the family member, the neighbors, not by us. We are not trying to lay words into their mouth. We're not trying to make them answer questions politically correct. We can always edit them later anyway. If they say something extremely crazy, we can always edit that out. But the truth is, we want the story from them, not from our interviewers, not from our translators. And that is a kind of, that's why that video of Nancy Michel was rejected, because the focus was too much on Bishop Benhams. It's like he's the one giving the whole story, he's the one translating, he's the one in the center of the whole thing. It's like now you're trying to raise him in some limelight, instead of focusing on the Nancy or the daughter properly and let them talk their story. So that kind of manipulation or infiltration of the story by our people, by our interviewers, correspondents, should be avoided at all times, even by our translators. Translation needs to be done, especially when people speak mother tongue, we have to translate it. Definitely, that's a must, because even sometimes when they speak Swahili with a local accent, it's very good to have translation, but let it be done in the background, let it not be a focus on the video. Let the translator not even appear in the picture. He can be somewhere aside just translating. You don't have to necessarily see the translator. You have to see the person whom you are interviewing. You see the reaction on his face and whatever. So I think framing is very key. I agree with our senior journalist here in this regards. And also translation is very helpful, but let it be done in a manner that doesn't really focus too much on the translator, but let it focus more on the healed person. Let the translator be a little bit more in the background, and even the interviewer can be shown once in a while, but more on the periphery. Yes.
Thank you so very much for that wise input. Senior Bishop Alfonso Kechi, since you are representing the larger correspondents in this, you normally do interviews, right? So I think you may just add on in 1 minute before we proceed, if you have anything to add.
Thank you so much, Senior Pastor Daniel. Just as you know that the ministry has now grown globally, and the most used language right now is English, and I think that is why it was emphasized, because also captioning the words is powerful, but you come to realize that, like, for example, right now we have 60 plus testimonies that needs to be edited by one person or maybe two people. So you see that it becomes a challenge. If all of us are doing in Swahili, and then we want Senior Pastor Randy and Senior Pastor Ongoi to do the captioning, then you'll find out that actually they'll not achieve their goal. And that's why we are encouraging them. We are encouraging the people at the ground to do the translation. But the translation should not be done word to word. I want you to get me. It should not be done word to word. You can, for example, ask him a general question. For example, you'll ask him, kwa majina yako ni nani? And then atasema kwa majina yangu naitwa XYZ na natoka hapa katika kijiji fulani, hapa ndio nyumbani. So you'll wait until he finishes his sentence, and then you can translate that sentence, what he has said. At least there's how they can answer the question until they come to a pause. So when that person comes to a pause, you know, it's not like preaching. Preaching is different from the interviewing. Interviewing should be different from preaching. You see, like preaching, it goes words to words because you are racing with the preacher, that is preaching. But now when you're interviewing this person, you should allow, just like the Deputy Senior Bishop has said, you should allow him to flow. When he flows, he's giving the narration of the story. There'll be a place where he reach and he will pause. And for purposes of this, you can talk to that person prior to the interview. You prepare that person. You tell, I'm going to ask you this and I'm not talk in English, and I'm going to be translating. Maybe you can be going, because you might find somebody can go for very long, anaweza patiana. There's some people who can, wakianza kuongea hawezi nyamaza, hata hand kama kuna full stop, no full stop, atakuwa amepatiana the whole story. So you can maybe in advance and prepare them. The most important thing is to prepare the interviewee. You as a good interviewer, prepare the interviewee before doing an interview. That's how you'll perfect in doing a perfect job as an interviewer. So go, let him flow, and then give a summary. Give a summary of what that person has said. I can quote an example of the miracle that took place in Zambia. The person that did that interview in Zambia, you can see that she did a very perfect job. She did it very, very perfectly and very, very professionally. In that she was bringing the question that in summary of what she was going to ask that person, and then the person that was answering, she comes and give an overview or a summary of what has been said. So generally, I think that is what we can copy from. We can copy from so that our interviews can be professional. Thank you so much.
I think that is very, very important what you have just said, Bishop Alphonse. Very, very important, because the translation for interviews is totally different like from preachings. You let the person give the story, and then at the point you just give a brief summary of the main points of what he or she said. You don't translate word for word. And it is true that one in some way was done very well, and so we can learn from that. So you see, sometimes translation can be rejected because of how it was done. It was kind of too intrusive, and it was not really giving us the points we need. You can even see how the mightiest prophets of the Lord sometimes even translates himself. Somebody is giving a narration in Kiswahili and then just summarizes it in one or two sentences, and then lets the other person continue. So translation in interviews is summarized to the key points of what that person is saying, and let the story flow. And at one point when the person just makes a break, you can now come in and just summarize what they have said. It's not word for word translation. That's very, very important. I fully agree with those points.
Thank you so very much. I think
Daniel, excuse me, kidogo. Yes. I know the time is gone, and we are supposed to be winding up our time. The number is reducing, but I have this question concerning submission of the clips that are recorded. Sometimes you realize that you receive a directive, to go and do a follow-up clip. And then after you have done the follow-up clip, now you want to submit it. Sometimes you have been given the email to submit direct to the head office. At the same time, you realize that the correspondent on the other side also is pushing you to give him the clip, and then he sends. And now when you hand over the clip to him or to her, then he sends, and then later you will be asked that where is the clip again. And this one sometimes bring a bit of confusion. So I don't know how we can go about it so that at least we get to know the way to send those clips sometimes.
Mostly the challenge we're facing at the headquarters is that clips are coming in late. There's a breaking news, a breaking story, the latest update or the latest healing, and the Mighty Prophet of the Lord want to highlight it in the program, which is coming up. And of course, we are running with a very tight time schedule. Our editing teams in fact, we are even enhancing our editing teams. We're bringing in some more people to help with editing because it has been overwhelmed. Sarandi has been totally overwhelmed. So we're trying to bring in more people to help with editing. But right now there is always that delay. So we would like, first of all, clips to come to us as fast as possible. As far as we're concerned, the headquarters, I would encourage you to have a nice relationship and a nice teamwork with your correspondents and work in harmony and work together. But let clips not be delayed because of bureaucracy or because of hierarchies. Let clips come as fast as possible because they're needed. If you're sending a clip and the correspondent sends the same clip and we have the same clip twice, it's better than having it 2 days late. So just send it and let him also send. So, in time. The problem is there's been a lot of delay in getting clips, and most of the time, Pastor Andy has been editing during the program. He's doing live transmission, he's live streaming, and he's also editing at the same time, because as he is continuing with the live program, clips are now arriving in his computer when the program is already on. And the Modest Prophet wants to highlight that healing, and Randy is busy editing and downloading clips, and then it creates a lot of tension and a lot of problems. So kindly let those clips arrive as fast as possible. We don't care so much about bureaucracy, who is sending which clip. We want those clips like yesterday, so that our editing team can have some little time to prepare them before they're being aired.
Yes, I think that is clarified. Maybe Bishop Alphonse?
Yeah, I think the Deputy Senior Bishop Michael Nison has answered it, but also it at times you see at the head office they can give different instructions basing on the type of they can send. At times they usually call us. Maybe they can call us Senior Bishop Ores, or they can call me, and then they instruct you go reach out to a certain team and tell them to send the clips. It's not necessary that is the only miracle. It means that they have different also regions that they are also wanting those clips to come in. So at times you have been telling the teams on the grounds to send for us those clips, simply because you have been instructed, verify those clips whether they are in order before they can send to us. So for the editing, for the team that is at the head office editing team, they are quite sure that every clip that shall come from us, we have already passed through it, and if there are any mistakes or any errors, we have already dealt with them. We have already returned them. If there are any errors, we have already returned them. They are corrected, and so when we are sending them, they'll have less time to go through the editing process, because they are overwhelmed, as you have heard from the Deputy Michael, is that Senior Pastor Rand is overwhelmed because testimonies are coming from everywhere. They're coming from everywhere. So you find that sometimes he cannot go through all the testimonies that we are sending. So he needs some people, at least some people that know what is needed to pass and verify those clips so that they may be sent through him. But basically what we usually tell them is that send that clip, you send it to Senior Pastor Randy and a copy to us. So you send for a copy to us, but you have already sent it to Senior Pastor Randy, so that in case of anything, if he calls you back and tells you that such and such a clip is needed to be corrected, already you have that copy of that clip, and you can easily reach out to them, so that you cannot he's concentrating on the editing, again he's calling again the team on the ground, but you can simply just instruct us on what to do on the areas of correction. So that is basically what why we usually want some copies to be with us. Another reason is that you may find out that maybe during that time of airing it, bringing it live, he might have misplaced it, or maybe he does not know how he labeled it. So you find out that at some time during the services, he usually sends us messages, please send for me such and such a clip. And if you don't have that clip, it becomes difficult, because again, starting to find it from the region, it becomes another issue. So that's why we usually tell them, at least as you send it to Senior Pastor Randy, one copy should at least, we request that one copy should be to us. But we are not following any bureaucracy, just like the Deputy Senior Bishop Michael has said. All clips should go to Senior Pastor Randy, not through the correspondence. A correspondent is nothing. We are nothing. All clips belong to the Lord. So all clips at first, they should go to, send them to Senior Pastor Randy. For us, we shall just receive a copy. So I think that is the point I just wanted to make it clear.
That is a very important point. The correspondents on the ground and the team leaders must have copies of those clips, because they can be asked questions. They are the ones who are answerable. They'll be asked by the headquarters, why is this clip done like this? Where is this? So they should be really aware of what clips have been sent, and they must have copies of those clips. Even as backup, and even as he said, sometimes even in the middle of the meeting, Pastor Randy might not find a certain clip, or he may not remember which clip, how was it labeled, what was that. So the correspondent can also support him. So copies must always be sent to they should also be sent to the regional leadership of the team and to the correspondent leadership, so that there can be some backups and there can also be teamwork. Because as it comes out very clearly, Pastor Randy is totally overwhelmed with work right now. And that's why we're trying to bring in, I've recommended the Mightiest Prophets a lot to bring in more people to boost our editing team, which is being done right now. We're working on that. But generally, the correspondents should receive always a copy. As you send to that code, you always copy to them. It's very easy. It can be done at the same time, isn't it?
Just to allow, if Omondi will allow, or whoever is convening the meeting, I want to add an important 1 minute. Yes, thank you. So the other way that can help us also do this best, we have two easy softwares to use that send news. They're online softwares. One is WeTransfer that sends up to 2 GB, and then the other one is My Airbridge, sends up to 20 GB. It sends a file without compressing, without changing its quality. The same software allows us to send it up to 2 people. Therefore, if we use this software, we can send to Randy and also send a copy to the correspondent. At the same time, it gives you room to describe what clip you are sending. You say a cripple in Busia that has walked, you describe it there. And then immediately you send, it gives you a link. You take this link and send it to Randy on WhatsApp or SMS, so that he downloads it. If he did not open his computer or email, then he can download it because he has the link. This will make it easy for both people to get the same time. We use this format to send our news. That is why you all the time see something has happened in Busia or in Kakamega. The next minute at 1 o'clock, you see it on TV. Why? You send the news. After sending the news, you take the link. There's a link for the story. You send the link over WhatsApp or SMS. They'll see it immediately on their phone because people work with the phones. It will say thing and then they check it. Once they see it, it will show him the link, and in the link, he will download the video. He'll get the brief story of what has happened. Therefore, he's able to store the story with the name you've sent and also have the background of the story. That helps us a lot most of the time.
Yeah, that is very, very important what you have mentioned. That's very key because there's been sometimes a lot of delay in sending and receiving clips. That is very powerful. But you have mentioned another software that allows you to send clips up to 10 GB or something. What was that again? I'm not aware of it. I would like to try that also. What is it? You said WeTransfer, but WeTransfer is limited. For larger files, what do you use? Put on your microphone. You are muted. You are muted.
It's called my
You are
Air
muted.
Bridge.
You are muted.
I am on. It's called my
Yes.
Air Bridge. Yes.
Okay, is that a software that is we have to pay for it or it's free or what is it?
It's free online. You don't pay for it. The same as
Okay,
WeTransfer.
good. Can you send me a link of that software? I'm not aware. I want to get to know it. I want to use it to start trying it out because that's an interesting thing. I think we should all have access to this kind of softwares because maybe some of us were not even aware of that. So kindly send me a link and send us a link to where we can download that software. So that's something I've not known because if it can send 10 GB, that's very, very important, very useful for our transfer of videos. I think that's a very big thing. We can even share that with the national video team, Pastor Mondi, so that it can also help us to use the same kind of technology that our professional journalists are using to send their news clips so that our clips arrive in time. That's a very good thing. I really love to learn about this because I've not known that there's such a service that we can use. That's a very, very interesting. Thank you so much for that.
It is usable for WeTransfer takes up to 7 days. You can keep the video up to 7 days. It can keep it there up to 7 days. If it passes 7 days, the link will disappear. The video will also get lost if you don't download. But for my the second one, it takes only 2 days. So if it goes 2 days, if you don't download it, you'll have to resend the video again. So it's important that the moment you send the video, you also send the link so that that person downloads the video very fast and it's done with, so that there's more space, you can always do more and more. That's the also note to be taken. As soon as you send with my Air Bridge, you send the message, the link very fast, the person downloads before 2 days, because after 2 days, it will not be there. But for WeTransfer, up to 7 days. After 7 days, it will not be there. That's
very powerful. That's a very powerful thing that you can send up to 10 GB. That's very, very awesome. That will cover quite almost, all our clips. So maybe that's something we can try out and also share with other members of our team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I'll go to the next question from John Moses. And Mzee John Moses is asking if we can extend this type of trainings to Uganda region also. I think they would also want to organize a Uganda conference like this, and where we would extend and train them also online.
Oh yes, so that would be a very wonderful thing to do. So if you have our teams from Uganda, let our national coordinator, Pastor Daniel Mondi, liaise with them, get to know them, and organize them. And then, of course, we can have training for them also. That's a very good thing. We would like to share our experiences and our knowledge with as many people as possible who can serve the Lord using the same. And I'm sure when we have such trainings, I would like to have some professional people on board, like Fred here, and other Bishop Alphonse, and some of the people who are a bit more professional should always be involved in those meetings, those training workshops, because they can bring some very valuable advice and teachings to the members of our teams.
Yes, that is very much in order. So John Moses organized the Uganda National Video Team Conference, and the Gate One, we are very much available to take part in it, and we have Senior Bishop Alphonse who is also ready to be part of it. I think I would go to John Opio's question. Praise the Lord, Senior Deputy Bishop. This is Geoffrey from Moore. I have a question. Let's take a scenario where you have taken the clip for Gate One and the healing had occurred, and the clips are needed to be submitted. Is it recommended if you can generate a link via Google Drive? If you had already uploaded the clip earlier for storage, whereby at time you could have uploaded the video via that, then you submit via the link. Okay, I think he's just asking if you have a link, can you share? Yes, John, I think I can answer that. If you have already generated a